What? I thought we were wearing that.
I want to be as possibly serious for this. Because Ellen, because Ellen's put a lot of work into this.
All right.
And as my assistant, I want to be kind to her.
Who are you?
Need music up.
Me? I don't
I feel like I don't know you anymore.
No one knows me anymore. I've never known myself.
Quickly, I wouldn't. When you have a second, how do you pronounce my character's name? I want to say Theodore, but
Teodor.
Theodore.
It's like Theodore, but without the H.
H. No.
It's like tomato, just without the duh.
Oh, I like my whip.
I like
Yeah.
your whip too. All ahead. All accounted for. Captain Thomas.
Yes.
All hands accounted for. All food and preparations on board.
Hello's chat. Hope you're
There
all
was
doing
a,
well tonight.
There was a word on one of the images Evelyn sent that I had to spend a solid like 2 minutes trying to pronounce.
Which
A
one was
thwart. It's a thwart ships.
Poop deck is pretty hard.
And I looked
to
at it, I was like, at hearts? Hips? At thwart? It was
The
so
word-
bad.
The worst is the more you try it, the worse it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
you're
so I had to
mixing
step
words.
back. I had to give myself.
But you've got Folksel down perfectly, so you know like.
Well, I did have it wrong. I originally thought it was Foxel. It is Folksel, like you said, but man, oh man. Oh, we've got the D&D Beyond thing up.
Yeah, that's just gonna be up because
forever.
it's up, and I don't have any control over that part.
How to get it up? How? I'm not getting my chat box on here. I'm not
I
get
get
that.
all you lovely people where you belong.
Good
You know what?
evening.
I'm gonna pull up chat on my phone. I think that might be
Chat.
better.
Well, you'll want to have Twitch open anyway because for combat, so you can see the map.
What?
Because I'm using Tailspire tonight.
Ooh, ooh.
Yeah.
What a fun app that is. Anybody know
Wow.
anything about Tailspire?
It's pretty
Nope.
great.
I know not a thing.
It's kind of
I
weird.
know.
It's kind of new, I think.
There are many things that have happened that I do not know about Tailspire.
Did it come out like yesterday or something?
Yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I've
Pretty-
never
yeah.
used it.
Nah, it
I've
seems
had it
pretty.
I've had it since launch. One of these days I might actually open it.
It's amazing. I love it so much.
It's so great.
Man, I'm talking to myself. Again.
Sometimes you have the best conversations with yourself.
Oh,
I'm the most entertaining person I know.
those arguments though, those arguments get a little tense though.
A little heated.
A little heated.
Oh, there it is. I was like, where the heck did my chat box go?
I don't know. Too much pressure. Oh.
Still sculpting.
I love it.
I feel like Tim is gonna judge us really hard on the words we decide to use. While
I'm
speaking
using
this.
none of them. I'm actually a mute.
I think you actually have
the
silent
best type of
casting.
character to play. Oh, so you can just meta magic all
I
your
think that's one of the feats I
spells.
gave him.
Silent
Can't
casting
remember,
is,
though.
I think, the better of the
Let
two,
me see.
usually.
Let me see. Silent casting. There's so much here. Gosh.
Now, Josh, I know you
Oh,
have
I'm so
prepared
nervous.
all of the verbal, somatic, and material component uses like I
Yep.
do when I play Alcott, right?
Oh, yep. Yep.
Yeah,
With my 3001 spells. I'm so not overwhelmed by
Why-
3.5 casting.
Now, why would you be overwhelmed? It's a really simple
Yeah, super
system.
simple with Pathfinder. Gosh.
It doesn't complicate anything at all. Serenade us, movie. Really get us going in the movie.
No, I don't think I get silent casting.
Okay.
You not know how to play it?
That's too bad.
Just own it. What am I supposed to do?
This
Know
is
how
the
to
show.
use it?
You know what? Hang on 1 second. One
Um,
second.
Yeah.
I'll give you
Vivi's
one.
multi-class is one of my favorite to play
Mm-hmm.
because I play
So-
as Gold on Sundays, and so I feel very like personally connected to that character.
I got
Angry
questions.
Music, but angry.
Is my familiar always with me?
Yep, Lazarus is always on her shoulder
Unless you
or
send
around her neck, or wrapped around her neck. She likes
Yes.
to wear him.
This is all I need to do.
Oh
Lazarus.
yeah, your familiar being on you gives you plenty of good bonuses.
Lazarus wears a.
I'm gonna take your word for that.
Correctly.
Huh?
Lazarus wears an eye patch. Correct.
No.
But I thought it was Lazarus, the one-eyed snake.
Go ahead. Try to put
Josh,
a patch
I
on
swear
Lazarus.
to the
Vivi,
deities
you look
of
very
my
excited
world.
to do something, and I want to just go ahead and verbally give you permission to go ahead and do it.
Fortuna!
Fortuna.
I
Often
hear
free.
it now. And I
what
knew
we
what you
said.
had planned. I knew what
I'll
was
just
going to
hold it
happen.
like this.
You make it really obvious. It's like a player piano, but nobody knows.
You only play the Titanic soundtrack on ukulele.
I should. I did. Okay, for a hot minute. On my ukulele.
Yeah, you got really
as
quiet
you
there
can
for a
tell.
second.
Oh, just because I moved my mic way.
Okay, I was just making sure. I was
Um,
like, I can't hear you.
This is not my ukulele, and for a hot minute, I did learn how to play Hedwig's theme on it.
For a
Awesome.
hot minute?
What?
For a hot minute or a
It
cold
was a
minute?
very spicy minute.
For a very spicy minute.
It was a scorching 60 seconds, let me tell you.
That's very accurate.
I love alliteration.
Trust me, I
Scorching
am
60.
used to that.
For a scorching 60. Oh,
Josh.
Josh is all about that 60
Sign
seconds.
off, Josh.
I have a 20 in charisma. This is all I got.
You? I
you
do.
got-
28 charisma, 5 stamina. What?
Exactly.
Disgusting.
My con's very low.
Good lord.
Dex is even lower.
All right. Josh,
Y'all.
Yes, sir.
what's the word for the back of the ship?
Dick.
No.
Poop
Robert,
dick.
what's the name for the front of the ship?
Foredeck?
The prow.
I mean, sure,
Poop deck.
guys.
Deck is the back of the ship.
yeah,
the
poop deck and
bow.
the quarter deck. The,
Oh,
the bow.
Oh, the bow. Okay.
wait,
Yes.
the bow is the back?
The
The
front.
back is front.
That's what you. That's what I thought you.
Well, where's the poop deck?
Right above the quarter
In
deck.
the middle,
Right above the quarterdeck.
in the bathroom.
Oh.
Y'all.
Here's a
Evelyn,
bucket.
you should have known this. You
Just go
I
right
used
over
to
the
pull
side.
The best cast
Which
ever.
way is left?
Right over the side. We're used to it.
Which way is left?
I mean,
Vivi,
Port?
which way is left? Port?
Port
Yes?
side.
Okay. I'm not
It's a
gonna test
sherry.
Evelyn, and Terry's muted, so I'm going to test myself. Someone asked me a question.
where's the poop deck?
No.
What is the third mast on a galleon called?
The third, you mean the backmost?
The backmost mast.
That would be the mizzen mast, right?
Indeed.
What was that word that you could not pronounce?
Miss,
No.
I don't even know it.
Thwart ships. That means along the
Listen,
side.
get it right, or I will keel haul you.
Yep.
Do you know where the keel is?
Hello.
Do you know what the keel is?
Oh,
Yes.
oh,
Underneath.
wait,
Yes, it is
Vivi,
underneath.
Vivi, when you're singing, I need you to sing when we turn the ship. Bah, here comes the bah, here comes the boom. It's the boom.
Yep.
Gosh, we are not on a ship that has a boom.
Why not?
Because they're much smaller.
There are no booms on the ship.
There are lots of
Also-
sails on one of these ships, though.
All I know is I'm a portswain, so I know the equipment. I don't know the actual
You are
ship,
a
okay?
bosun.
Tell someone.
Bosun,
I'm-
not boatswain. It is bosun. That is how it's
Bosun.
pronounced. Bosun.
I'm portswain.
You are a bosun.
Captain!
I love that they just like to make things complicated to say, but not to spell. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
Lower
should-
whale.
This morning.
I'm a corporeal of this ship.
Rudder.
If you wanted to tell someone to go toward the front of the ship, which direction would you tell them to move?
Away from the poop deck.
I'm gonna Josh.
To the bow!
Forward, which
Forward.
seems
Whatever.
way too easy of an answer.
And the opposite is aftward.
I'm sensing some of you are going to need being beaten from stem to stern.
I see what you did there.
Mhm.
Oh, I'm so
I
excited.
didn't know it's
So-
going to be quiz today.
So I know, right? We've got the forecastle, but there's also the
Forecastle.
stern castle, and why isn't that the stuxle?
I don't know.
Forecastle, whatever.
Tomato, tomato.
Now I'm feeling like this is like a Dr. Seuss rhyme.
One ship, two ship.
3 ship.
Red ship,
4.
blue ship.
To starboard.
Red ship, blue ship,
Apparently, I'm
amid
coming to you with
ships,
a Boston
athwart
accent.
ships.
We're in a bunch of
Okay, and
ships.
then I need to add. Thank you. Let's see. Need to kill.
What is a
Players.
boom vang?
A boom vang? Did someone ask that in chat?
No.
No, I'm just asking.
I honestly couldn't tell you.
Thomas,
Bye.
come on, man.
Come on, failed your test.
All right, yeah, no, you're
Dude.
right, guys. I should leave.
Yeah, we
All
should.
right,
We
peace.
gotta kick.
can
We
we
gotta
can
kick
we
Thomas.
can we keep him, please? Because I would like to keep him, please.
It's a line that adjusts downward tension on the boom.
Cheetah.
Ah,
That's why you have your notes.
we
Just
also
in case.
don't have one of those.
We don't have one
Because
of
we
those?
don't have a
Because we
boom.
don't have a boom, Vivi.
All right.
Well, you can have it without the boom. We're not going to limit ourselves just because we don't have a boom. We need
Here
one
comes
just
the
in case.
boom. Ready or not.
Being
Yeah.
the port swain, I know a thing or two.
You are the bosun.
What's most problematic is you're like really butchering it by putting the word port in front of it, and you're not even
Yeah.
trying.
Nope.
All right.
I like this breast line. What's this about? Wait,
Y'all about ready to go live video live?
Nope.
No, this mood that I'm
We're
in
still
is
studying.
what gave you that idea?
Ja,
All
så,
right.
Elsweit.
I am actually ready.
Legitimately ready.
Well, it's good for one of us today.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
into the ocean.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to BlueBoxRPG. We are live here on our lovely Twitch channel to play some High Seas Adventures. Yar! All right.
Avast ye!
So let me get all the business stuff out of the
Ahoy.
way first. I am your DM tonight. I'm Evelyn. If you are not familiar with me, I am here a lot of the time. And I have with me some of the most amazing players that Blue Box has to offer. So yeah.
Where?
So yeah. So first things first, let me give a shout out to all of our sponsors: Trollord Games, Mantic Games, Ferox Fabrications. Let's see, who else? We have so many great people. Cozy Gamer Dice.
Cozy Game.
And Mike Disney.
What about
and-
the pad things for painting?
That's Ferox.
Ferox, yes.
Ferox Fabrication. Yep.
Great.
I got
Frederica
them
still
in-
counter? Or are we?
and
is-
I will say one final very big thank you to Frederica Draws, who has done in the past all of our art for all of our lovely campaigns and our
Characters.
DM's art. However, now we are she has moved on to doing stuff, her personal stuff, and it's still amazing. So you should definitely still check her out on her Facebook and Twitter. So I'll put her stuff in there. I'm gonna actually temporarily, I'm gonna close out Tailspire because it's causing a little bit of lag right now, and I'll bring it back up later when we're in combat.
Love it.
When I can have different things going at the same time. So check all of our sponsors out. They are fabulous. We love them. Go say hi. Yes. Okay. And next up, let me turn this music down just a smidge. I would love my players to introduce themselves. So first, give us your name and tell us a little bit about what you're doing. And then please introduce your character, give us a little bit of a description of what they look like, and yeah, so let's get started.
Oh God, description.
Yeah.
Where's my
Yeah,
description?
right. Improv. I'll go first.
Aha.
Hello, everyone. I'm Thomas Roberts. You might recognize my face from the Sunday streams. If you don't watch the Sunday streams, go check it out. I play Alcott Dever. He's really cool. But today I am playing Vendra, the half-orc level 15 swashbuckler. And she's got that pale greenish skin. She's got a piercing through her right nostril that's big and gold, has a jewel hanging from it. And she's got earrings going all the way up her ears. And she wears a nice black bandana over the top of her head that ties her dreadlocked black hair. Wearing your regular pirate vestments, a poofy white shirt, and just some slacks of some kind. And a belt that is just laden with knives and a big old rapier on it.
Awesome.
That is Vendra. Also, I do a podcast called Heart of Adventure, which you can check out. It's really great.
Yeah, you do. All right, so next up is Robert. Why don't you tell us about your character?
Well, I am playing Renmea.
Yes, Renmea. Yep, you got it.
Renmea. She is a quite the daring swashbuckling drow. Possibly has some other skills as well. We'll find out. She's rather, I would say, tall for an elf at standing around 5'7". Just in what you would expect a swashbuckling pirate to wear. However, she notably has a rapier on her hip on one side, a rather nasty-looking whip on the other side, and the piece de resistance, she has a viper that is wrapped around her shoulders and neck, gazing the rest of the crew rather suspiciously.
Huzzah.
All right.
Huzzah.
All right, next up, we will have, let's see, we've got Josh. Tell us about you.
Well, hello, I'm Josh of NPC Voices. You can catch me on here on Twitch on my own channel. You can catch me on Tuesday nights with the wonderful Blue Box crew, and also on Monday nights with my amazing cast for the Children of Dirt stream at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific. And if you ever want to find me elsewhere, I do videos, posts on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all of the above. I need to get better at TikTok. But I'm going to be playing Elsendare, who he can go by Elsie, I'm going to say from here on.
All right.
Yep. His favorite color is purple. He wears a long purple leather-like cloak. He wears a nice fine vestment on the interior of the cloak with almost like paisley swirled designs of gold. He wears fine amethyst earrings that dangle from both ears, and he has a single nose ring on his left side. He's got a cut in the eyebrow on the right side that shows some sort of quarrel that he went through. His blonde hair is slicked back, and his fine pointed half-elf ears poke out from beneath the slicked back hair. He's got piercing, beautiful green eyes. He's a little bit more portly, going at about 5'9" at 185, but he's also got a little bit of muscle on him as he stands there leaning on his quarterstaff, looking over the ocean. He has a little bit of electricity about him. some sort of raw energy to him.
All right.
Oh, energy.
So powerful. All right. Next up is Vivi.
Hello. How are you doing? Introducing ourselves. Hello, my name is Phoebe. I am you can find me at the DM's Quest. What do? I paint minis. I play D&D. You can find me on Blue Box on Tuesdays with some of these lovely people here. My character's name is Teodor. He is a swashbuckling Squid. He is a medium build, tan skin, short brown hair. He has some nice fancy pants. Of his favorite color is let's do emerald green. So he's got some nice green pants and a nice green vest, and he sits at the bow.
Guys, she knows her ships.
I know my ship so well. He sits at the bow of the ship, feet up, with his musical instrument strumming along in the waves.
All right. And last but not least, we have Terry. Tell us about your character and yourself.
Yes, Machik ED here, also Terry. You can, I run a little Twitch stream on Monday nights that is actually restarting next week due to some people having some stuff to do. But we run a Pathfinder 2E campaign starting at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so please check us out. Additionally, you can find me on Twitch. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, all of that, and TikTok. It's also all Machik ED. I am playing Marjorie. Marjorie is a 5'3", 123-pound half elf. Looks to be about mid-20s, with blue eyes and long auburn hair. The skin is tan from being on a ship. I know, surprising in this.
It's like you're all pirates.
Yeah. And I'm not going to be as descriptive as everyone else right now. I'll save my descriptions for later.
That's fair.
Good for you.
That's fair. All
Keep
right.
your secrets.
All right, everyone. And now we shall begin with tonight's The Pirate King's Pride. Let me kick off one thing really quickly.
I gotta reconnect to the sound pad.
You're good.
It occurs to me having dice would actually probably be a good idea.
Probably.
Maybe.
I've just left my dice open at this point next to me.
All right. We're going to do this. All right.
I am going. Go big or go home.
Right?
Oh, wait, I'm already home.
It's a very rare thing for you to find yourselves in Verdilia. Even more so in the Port of Kings, yet here you are. The Pirate King has called for you, and you well know the penalty for not answering that call. The morning sun shines. Ooh, that's really loud. Hold on a second. Where is it? There we are. Sorry. My sound's changed.
All good.
The Pirate King has called for you, and you well know the penalty for not answering that call. The morning sun shines down, warming your skin, and a friendly breeze smelling of brine gently ripples through your hair as you make your way along the pier, the heels of your boots striking against the weathered boards. The cries of gulls fill the air as they circle overhead, searching for their morning meal. The clear blue skies and the rhythmic waves call you back to sea. It is the perfect day for sailing. But that has to wait until you can discover what the mysterious Pirate King wants from you. As you continue along the boards, you are joined by 4 others as you near the first buildings that lead into the town proper. you hear someone clear their throat to call your attention, and you spy a very tan, muscular human man with a messy mop of graying hair. His clothes are crusted in a visible layer of salt, and the leathers look well worn. He sits atop a wooden crate behind what looks to be a makeshift desk, made up of 2 ale barrels and a door that appears to have had its hinges unceremoniously ripped from it. He clears his throat again and taps the point of a quill down on a sheet of parchment in front of him. "Ye cannot come in till ye registrate with me. So name, rank, ship, and business with the king."
Well, he'd be summoning us. I mean, we have to register. I don't understand this.
I
What?
believe I was invited. I
I,
have to sign a document?
I don't understand. Did the king want us here or did he not?
I don't know. I don't really know. I'm just here to get the names and the ships and the rank stuff. That's what I do.
Oh, all right. Vendra, first mate, shrieking banshee.
And so
Happy?
he dips his quill into the bottle of ink that sits on the top of the store, a little bit of ink spilling out as he does so, and he scribbles it down. All right, which one of these is next?
Renmei walks up and says to Steins, "Renmei, best mate, the Black Tide,"
All right,
and writes with a big flourish.
very well.
While they are doing that, Elsendare is going to try and sneak by.
All right, you roll me a stealth check. I'm
yes.
gonna roll a perception check for my
I'm trying-
friend here.
Scallywag.
I'm trying to double check that I thought I read something about a panache being able to be used for stealth.
No.
Nope, just kidding. Okay, then I'll just that's a
Definitely
straight
not.
roll. Yikes. That's a yikes. Okay, I know how to do stuff. Stealth, which I am not trained in.
All right, roll it.
That's gonna be an 8.
And your stealth bonus is a 0.
Nope, that is a 5 plus 3. That is an 8.
All right. Well,
Good start.
luckily for you, it seems that our registration fella here is very much distracted by the other people, and you just slip on past.
Does Renmei notice this?
You can roll a perception check.
Or is it roll D20?
Snitches get
If you
stitches.
don't notice this,
Snitches get stitches. Come on, you
Interesting.
pull.
Hold on a second. Perception. Where's my perception? I rolled a 7, so.
Please be a minus. Please be a minus or nothing. I beg you.
I don't know where perception is on
I
this
don't know how
character
often
sheet.
you use RPG Scribe. If you go to the S star and you...
Oh, there we go.
Josh,
So
your character-
yeah. So is it the first column or the first column?
Yeah, be
So
the
that'd be-
plus total.
You
Yeah,
might,
so-
yeah.
19.
Oh yeah, she definitely spots Elsendare trying to sneak past.
So,
We
so
are
what would be the
level 15.
chances that
Wait.
Renmei would be able to take her
Okay,
and
pop.
wrap it
What the freak?
and catch Elsendare's leg at the ankle?
All right, so first try make an attack roll, please, against Elsendare's AC.
That is an 18 on the die.
I thought he
That's
was signing,
your-
I thought
your-
he was signing the sheet at this
The
moment.
whip's a +2.
Right, and add your base attack bonus and your strength, I believe. So it's a plus
so-
9 on the whip total, so that your die roll
Okay.
plus 9.
So 27.
Yep, that'll hit.
27, yeah, that definitely hits him. So now I need you to roll a CMB roll against Josh's or Elsendare's CMD.
All right, CMB.
I have no idea how to
okay.
roll that.
It's in your combat section.
That's a 33.
Yeah, that will actually capture Elsindare's ankle. What would
And
you
where
like?
do you think? And where do you think you're going? And yanks on the whip. If we have to sign, you have to sign. These are the rules, you know.
Sounds fair.
He will
Oi!
step back in the line.
What do you think you're doing?
I got this.
I was
Come
simply walking past.
Oh,
Nobody gets into the Portal Kings without my permissions first.
Oh, whose fault was
and
it
a
that you
fine
didn't
job.
notice me?
Yours.
You're not doing your job quite correctly.
You know, I put up with too much day in and day out to deal with this. So you know what? You can wait your turn. You get to go last because I'd like you the least. Okay, who's next?
Perfect.
Teodor will walk forward and pull out a pen, and he'll flourish his signature on the paper. Teodor, 3rd Lieutenant of the Hangman's Howl. And what's your name?
You're very much more polite than these other ones. I'm Henry.
Henry.
Yes.
And from what ship do you come from?
I don't come from a ship. I work here.
Interesting.
This is my job.
And he'll just turn and walk towards where everybody else is.
All right.
Marjorie's gonna look at Josh. What's your character's name again?
Elsindare?
Yeah. Marjorie's gonna look at Elsindare for a second. She kind of studies him, shakes her head, and you can see her hair kind of wispy, dashes back and forth. You're silly. She'll walk over to Henry. She'll look at Henry.
Hello, madam.
I'm Marjorie, chaplain of the Shining Saber. And she'll delicately take the pen, and you can see her hand moves with a smoothness that you don't usually see accustomed to those that are on ships. And it flows across the paper as she signs her name and follows the group.
Well, thank you. And now you.
Me.
Yes, you.
You it is. As he will sign you, I'm you of the Dragon's Curse.
Just so you know, the Pirate King has ears. This information of your inability to follow the rules will make it to him. And I hope that you pay for this. I do not get paid enough for this. Get out of my sight.
I'm also the boatswain. Oh, all right.
And Henry will look at the rest of
Stuff
you.
whatever.
Henry will look at the rest of you.
Mhm.
And now for the rest of you, who are very much more polite. Follow this road, up this way. There is a row of houses about a mile and a half from here. 2 miles. And right beyond that is the keep. Have a
And
good day.
as Vendra passes him, she sort of puts her fist down on the table, leans and says, "Politeness was not in the letter. Have a good day."
I don't like you either. You hear as you kind of walk away. You kind of hear as you walk away. Alright. So, as you continue on, you begin to make your way into the town proper, and the weathered wooden walkways give way into cobblestone streets winding through the mishmash of homes and shops that make up this village. Most of the people you pass on your way pay you no mind as they go about their morning routines, with various boisterous shouts ringing out as you pass a sizable group of sailors who seem to be busily working on gathering supplies before their ship can set sail. It's a familiar enough sight to you as you've done so many times before with your own crews. You continue onward through the streets that sometimes narrow to the point of requiring you to press your way through the crowds, holding on to your coin purses as you go. After all, one thing you know is that you can trust other pirates to be untrustworthy. Finally, you begin to spy the spires of what you assume is the keep over the top of a row of homes ahead, the one that Henry described for you as he gave you the directions earlier. The homes look as if they were once brightly painted, but the oppressive rays of the sun has faded the vibrancy of the hues, and the structures themselves look like they had not seen repairs in a few decades, and might succumb at any moment to a strong enough wind. You push forward past the homes, following the lines of the spires downward toward the two towers that border the keep on either edge. It is an imposing stone structure that looks to be the oldest yet most well-maintained structure in the town. Various banners are hung across the front of the keep, representing each of the island countries within the Briny Isles, which Marjorie, in particular, would recognize one of, along with some of the more well-known ships that make the Port of Kings their port of call. A short stone bridge is the only path towards the large wooden iron-banded front doors that sit closed and guarded by two very grumpy-looking pirates. The first is a white-haired human man with a jagged scar that runs down below his left eye and hooks towards his mouth. He looks as if he has not reacquainted himself with a razor in a good few days. The other, a severe-looking elven woman with an eye patch and her hair tied back tightly. Both are staring in your direction as they grip their sheathed blades and seem to be waiting for something.
Well, I guess I'll go first. Hello, Vendra, first mate of the Shrieking Banshee. I guess you're looking for us?
And the elven woman looks at you. Yes, you were expected.
Well, good. I'm glad I've arrived.
I see that you are all accounted for. Good. And you are very prompt. It is good not to keep the king waiting, so I hope you are all prepared. Be on your best behavior.
What fun would that be?
By
Yes.
prepared, you mean what exactly?
Just be prepared to listen. The king will speak, you will listen, and do as you are told. You know the penalties.
Well, listen, I can do.
Very good. Well, if you all step back a moment, and the woman turns to the man, seeing that you all are who was expected, counted in total. They both of them kind of scanned you over, and they grasp the iron rings that are on the doors, and they push the doors inward. And ahead of you, you see a long hallway. That there is a deep green rug that runs the length of this hallway, and both the elven woman and the man gesture to you inside, though not in a very particularly polite way. They just kind of, say, get in there by their gesture. So.
Well, I certainly do that.
All right.
I don't see any reason why not.
All right. Does everyone else follow?
Yes.
All right. You make your way into the keep, which is warmly lit by torches lining the long hallway toward the throne room, and your feet pad quietly along the rug that runs the length of the hallway. I would like anyone who would like to do a perception check to do a perception check right now.
Ooh.
I mean, we know who's really, really good at perception.
That would be a 27.
A 27. Wow. All right. So you can hear in the distance, your ear catches the strains of music, though you can't quite tell what the exact music is yet. But it seems to be a shanty of some sort. The smells of ale and rum catch your noses, along with the delicious smell of roasting meats and freshly baked breads. As you reach the end of the hallway, you come face to face with another displeased-looking pirate, standing in front of the door to the throne room. The pirate looks you over and gestures towards a small alcove to your left where various weapons seem to be stored. And as this pirate gestures over, weapons go there. No one's allowed in with any weapons. You can get them on your way out.
You wouldn't take away a poor man's walking stick, would you?
I know your kind, your tricks. Put the staff in there.
He's gonna shuffle off and put the staff into the room, and we'll shuffle back. What
And-
sort of union benefits do you get working this job?
Not enough to put up with anybody's lip, but plenty of ale and rum to go round.
He'll take out his butterfly knife and he'll lay it down, and then he'll come over and he's like, and what about musical instruments?
The instruments are loud. We're actually playing some music inside right now.
Oh,
You're welcome to join the
wonderful.
band.
And he'll head towards the music.
Henry walks over and takes the whip from her belt and undoes the scabbard for her rapier, puts them in, and then gently pulls Lazarus over her shoulder as if Lazarus were a scarf of some type, and just very nonchalantly walks in.
All right.
Nice snake. 'Cause I'm gonna follow.
And Vendra will purposefully stand back waiting for Marjorie to put her weapons down, trying to size up all the other people who came along with her.
So Marjorie steps over, and you see her take her mace off of her side, set it down, looks back at Vendra. Now it's your turn, my dear. And
All
walks into the room.
And Vendra will unclip the dagger from the sheath it is in and unhook the rapier from the frog it sits in. Good day, and walks in.
Right. And as you continue into the room, and the doors open for you with this fellow, once you've put all your weapons down, he opens the doors for you. You now clearly hear that the music that is being played and sung is in fact Drunken Sailor, and it is raucous. There is people everywhere singing as loud as they possibly can. A group of young pirates to your left swing their tankards to and fro above their heads, sloshing ale as they go, soaking their fellows next to them. A group of men and women sit gathered to your right, and they trade off between singing along and talking and laughing amongst themselves. A few feet ahead of them, another couple is locked in a romantic embrace and seems unbothered by the activity around them. And on the left side of the throne, a group of musicians play spiritedly as they stamp their feet to keep time, and on the right side of the throne sits 5 pirates. 3 men and 2 women who are singing the loudest among those collected in the room. And before the throne stands a person with long copper-streaked brown hair with a collection of braids on which rests a gray woolen Cavalier-style hat with a long peacock feather stuck inside the gold band around the crown of the hat. Upon their shoulders hangs a long green and gold damask cloak, as their arms swing wide, conducting the music. You spy the movement of white fabric as sleeves slide up and down on the person's arms. A deep, long scar crossing the elbow on their right arm, and a tankard in one hand and a flask in the other. One of the 5 pirates sitting close to the throne, a man with light brown hair tied back with a red bandana, a goatee, and oddly a pigeon on one of his shoulders, catches your eye and looks you over as you walk up toward the throne. The individual in front of the throne catches this look and glances in your direction and gives a small pleased smile before finishing the song. Rises early in the morning, as boisterously as possible, and then the song comes to its conclusion, And at the conclusion of the final strain, the woman turns around and faces you. You quickly see that she is a half-elven woman as she turns and drops herself into the throne, swinging her left leg up over one of the arms as she reclines back into the seat. Hello, dears, and welcome. I am your humble servant. I am the Pirate King, and I welcome you humbly to my abode. And I do appreciate your promptness. I do love a group of pirates that knows how to show up somewhere on time.
Vendra will very largely bow toward her. Thank you. I'm good with on time, I think.
It seems so. Very well. Well, I am glad to see you all receive my letters and are in good health. Seemingly so, at least. Very good. And she leans over and whispers something to the pirate with the red bandana and the pigeon on his shoulder. And then turns back as he follows whatever she said with a huzzah! And continues his conversation with the person next to him. So, I've called you here for a specific purpose, and, well, I have a task for you. You see, I've had, a bit of, misbehavior in my court, and I don't do very well with misbehavior. So, you'll have to see, I needed somebody that I could trust, or at least that is the best in the business, as they say. Your captains are very, very fine captains. However, captains tend to be in it for themselves. And you all, being loyal servants of your captains, I figured would be much more reliable than your captains might in this endeavor. All right, so a person by the name of Britta Varner. She was one of my court members previously. She was also a member of the Scattered Skull, if you've heard of that ship. Many have, it is fairly well known. She absconded with a chest of my very, very most important treasured belongings. And I would very much like it back. I have sent 5 crews after it, and the wreckage of those ships have come up, washed up on shore of the islands nearby, and so I needed a better crew and a better ship. And so you all will get to use my very personal ship. It is called the King's Pride. And it is a beautiful ship. I have provided my very own crew, and you will be joining them to get my possessions back. Word is that Britta has found her way on the easternmost of the Scattered Wisps, those little islands out past. So, please retrieve it. And as I know, you do not necessarily do things of your own goodwill. I mean, we're pirates here. Come on, let's not be silly. I will pay you very handsomely to retrieve these things for me. Minimum of 5,000 gold pieces. And a pick of my very best treasure. So, what say you?
Now, Pirate King, wonderful to see you in such a gorgeous state. I've got to say, have you done something new with your hair? It's looking absolutely amazing. The 5,000 gold, is that per person, or is that in total divvy up as we see fit?
It would be per person unless you can prove that you are very expeditious and able to complete the task in a very quick fashion, and then I might increase. For every hour you save on retrieving this, and Britta, because she must be returned and face her trial for her breaking trust with the Pirate King.
And my king, when we returned with this scoundrel, and presumably the ship as well, who will be the captain of that ship?
Oh, well, any of you could take that ship if you were so inclined.
I am at your service, then.
Very well.
Certainly, as the highest ranking individual amongst the 5 of us, it should be me, I presume. But no matter, that's all right. Like I said earlier, I am good with getting things done on time. I will ensure it happens.
Very good. Very good.
This chest, you say. What's in it?
That is my business, dear. Please.
And so how are we supposed to know what if we have the right chest?
The
If we don't
chest
know what's in it.
is marked with my symbol on the front.
PK, correct.
It is sealed unless Britta has figured out how to break the spell that keeps it closed. So,
A final question, Your Majesty.
of course.
Is that 5,000, is that from the lump sum? So let's say 1 or 2 of us just don't make it back entirely alive. Does their lot go to the rest of us, or is it the straight 5,000 gold?
Here's the thing,
Yes.
dear. As you can tell, I don't like traitors, so if anything happens to the rest of you, you don't get the full sum.
King, I must apologize on behalf of my erstwhile companion. It seems his ankle is troubling him for some reason. He may have twisted it unexpectedly. Clumsy lad he is sometimes.
Touch me again and learn, shall you?
Oh, you wish I would touch you.
Vendor steps between the 2 of them. Listen, it seems that we would need to be working together on this job, all to come back alive. Otherwise, we're not getting paid at all. Pull yourselves together. Please.
And, as another benefit to you all, if you complete this, I will send good word to all of your captains. And your captains will also be rewarded with special favor, and you will be able to access my court as you please, which is a very
Huzzah.
hard thing to acquire. So,
Then, when do we leave?
the King's Pride, I believe, is underway of getting all of its supplies loaded. So you should be able to depart very shortly.
Is there time for an ale before then? I saw many drinking and
Oh, yes, of
we must get
course.
proper departure.
Of course. And she'll kind of snap and kind of wave a hand around and have the one of the fellows sitting near her run off and go collect ale. And why am I dropping frames? Hold on 1 second, guys. We're losing internet.
There is
here.
a little bit of lag on your side. I think it's from the 3
Yeah.
different things you're streaming from your computer.
I don't know. Hold on.
I would agree.
Yeah, the tabletop audio might.
Well, it's not going right now. There it goes.
Well, but it is still
That cleared up.
streaming, right?
Nope.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
That's better. All right. So, so she gestures to one of her people, and he goes and rounds up a bunch of tankards of ale and passes them out to the lot of you. and you all are welcome to eat and drink at your leisure. I do recommend to set off sooner rather than later. As you know, the weather is unpredictable at times. So, while it's so nice...
Yes, and no getting too deep into your flasks. We want to stay on our best behavior on board, do we not? Looks very specifically at Elsindare when she says that.
How long
Yes.
is the
Anyways,
journey?
How long is the journey? Well, to get to the easternmost wisp, it is at least a half a day. Just over a half a day. So, not horribly far, but far enough.
Wonderful. No, that is more than enough time, Your Majesty. As he'll bow and then scooping with the tankard, will just down it, walking backwards. More than enough time
Indeed.
to sober up as he pokes Vendra's chin, nose, forehead.
this is going to be so difficult not to just kill you when we leave.
Hopefully you do.
All right. Well, if you wish to enjoy some of my entertainment music, then feel free to sit and join us. Talk amongst yourselves, whatever you wish to do.
Yes, Vendor will grab a seat and a nice flagon of something, sipping, not downing, and just sort of wait for other people to show up, hoping that they actually come and sit by her. But
Renmei is going to be dancing about with anyone who wishes to dance and singing at the top of her lungs because she's a pirate. This is a party. This is a departure party. We do not sit quietly like meek mice.
Vendor is definitely not doing that. She sits quietly in one of the corner tables.
Right. And as you sit and enjoy your drink and whatever food you might wish to procure, because there is plenty to go around, you just hear chatter kind of amongst things, and some more of the music picks up, and people start singing various sea shanties as they kind of relax and follow the lead of the Pirate King, because it is at the Pirate King's pleasure that they exist in this court. And after some time passes by, you all have finished your drinks and your food, find your bellies full, and find your nerves calmed.
Mm-hmm.
And make way out of the keep and back down towards the port proper, to the docks. And as you take your leave and move your way to the docks, you find the King's Pride, which is as impressive of a ship as one might expect of one belonging to the King of Pirates. There is a bustle of activity as the sailors you saw earlier gathering supplies work to lift various crates and sacks from piles on the dock and up onto the ship. As you near the ship, you easily spot the captain. You can tell that it's her because she is standing, looking over various scrolls and shouting orders to the people on the deck as they scurry back and forth. Her silver hair glints in the sunlight, and she looks very much someone who does not suffer fools.
Good.
And the gangplank is extended down, obviously, as people are going up and down it to load everything onto the ship. So you can move closer if you wish.
Move closer and permission to come aboard.
And the captain, hearing you, looks down. I was wondering when you'd get here. Hello, I am Captain Nora Eastbreeze. Welcome to the King's Pride. Come aboard! We've been expecting ya.
Huzzah!
Theodore will hang back and try to meet up with Vendra.
Renmei walks up the gangplank as if she owns the place.
As she would. As she would.
Yeah, Vendor will notice that Teodor is hanging back and will shyly give him a look and then wait for everyone else to move past.
Vendra, you said I thought you were the captain of this ship.
Oh, no. The ship that we plan to overtake that has the chest on it shall certainly need a new one after we bring its current captain back. I certainly plan on becoming that captain.
Noted. And he'll walk forward.
All
day.
right. Well, welcome aboard. I am very glad to make your acquaintance. I am your captain, and you must be Vendra. You're my first mate, are you not?
At your service.
Ah, very good. Well, I need you to get everybody in line and get everybody moving a little faster because, well, we've been having a bit of a dilly-dallying issue, and they're taking too long to get everything aboard the ship. So, if you would, get everyone moving.
Oh. Absolutely. Vendor gives a wink.
All right.
So you said she wanted help getting things onto the ship quicker,
Yeah,
correct?
she's basically...
So the people off and on ship, not everyone on the ship at the same time.
Yeah, just getting everybody moving.
Vendor will very quickly go over to the port side and shout off to all the people down below deck. Avast ye! Get it moving! We need to get off onto the waters quickly. Come on, hop to!
All right. And you just see them looking at... And most of them start to pick up their pace and move faster, but there's one fellow that looks very confused. Who are you to tell us what to do?
Vendra, your first mate, and it'll be 10 lashes if you ask another question.
Oh, all right. And he just immediately starts, runs and grabs one of the canvas bags and tosses it over his shoulder and like starts moving much faster even than the others.
That's what I like to see.
Elsindair would kind of come up next to Vendra and be like, and also, I can burn or electrocute anyone you don't like.
Did I not say not to get too deep into your cup?
We'll have a day. He's fine.
Can you count the amount of cups you had on your fingers?
Can he count?
Good question.
My hands are big.
That does not determine how much you can count. All right.
Or anything else for that matter. What? I said nothing.
Listen, Vendor will go on making sure that people move quickly.
Marjorie's gonna walk towards Josh. What's your Elsindair? Marjorie's gonna walk towards Elsindair, and noticing that he seems to be a bit tipsy, she's gonna stand there, slightly off to the left, and kind of look into his eyes, and very quietly cast Copycat, and then step to the side. So now, Elsindair, you see two of us. And Marjorie's going to look. Are you all right there, hon?
Huh. Yes, I'm quite right. You just got 2 times more beautiful.
2?
Do you have a sister?
Not that I'm aware of. Seems you might have had a bit too much to drink tonight, huh?
Please stop moving so much.
Well, you may want to get some rest. We've got a lot of work to do. And she'll walk away as the copycat stays there.
Hmm. 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 Now that's not usual. Right? Right? Is he just going to be talking to the copycat?
Oi!
Oh!
Elf!
Hmm?
The captain, Nora, she's called your attention. Aren't you supposed to be my bosun?
I am your port swain.
All right, he mispronounces all things.
Ready to be directed.
That's your job. You're supposed to be organizing everybody. That's literally what the bosun does.
Is it right? I will go do that.
And before you start to walk
Yeah.
away, Nora just is looking at you like completely like furious that you have gotten this drunk. And she pulls a flask off her hip and she uncorks it and she just splashes cold water into your face.
Oh, okay.
Sober up!
Bushy-tailed, madam, bushy-tailed, as he will head towards wherever the cargo would be.
All right.
And we'll start directing, even though he is just gone. He's able to do his job.
Good.
Renmei walks over to Teodor and says, I've got a gold piece that he falls in.
Yeah, I'll take that bet.
For or against? You both just throw a gold piece to one another as you hear.
Yeah. Hang on one second. Let me just check my character sheet real quick. We're still docked, correct? We're not.
Mhm.
Yeah, we're definitely at docks though.
How deep is the water?
The water is about, you would say, 2 fathoms, so 12 feet deep. And deep enough for the ship to be able to dock, but not so deep that, you know, if someone fell in, they would sink very far.
Wonderful. Teodor will just kind of sit there with Renmia and we'll just watch very cautiously.
And,
Captain, my captain. Sorry.
you're good. Yes. What can I help you with? You are trying to remember names? Renmea. That's the one, right? Good. I remembered, and you have a little friend, I believe. Snake friend. I heard
Lazarus.
Very respectable. Everybody should have a pet, I say. Keeps you company on the open seas. I used to have one. And she kind of has a very distant stare for a moment.
I'm sorry to hear that. What would be my job on the ship? My letter did not state what it was I would be doing.
Well, on this ship, you're serving the same position that you serve on your actual ships. Makes it easy enough to transfer you across. I am normally the first mate upon this ship. Normally, the ship is captained by the Pirate King, but I am serving as captain for this, but the rest of you will be serving your normal positions. So you are the second lieutenant.
Huh. Okay. Any chance of a promotion?
Well, seeing as we already
Vendor
have
walks
a
by,
first
not while I'm
mate-
breathing.
I mean, I don't have a first lieutenant right now, so if you want, you can take that job.
Okay. That's what we'll do for now.
All right. Like to see very enterprising young pirates. Gets the job done. All that. All right. Well, we better continue getting this on a roll so we can weigh anchor and make way. All right. And so she kind of scurries off and starts kind of handing various documents to the people that need them. She speaks to. You can see her kind of go off and speak to various people, and some of them you can kind of tell like who they are. She goes and speaks to who you can tell is the navigator. You can see all the maps kind of laid out on a small table, and he's kind of, it seems that they're having a discussion, double checking, making sure that the path that they are going on is the one that had been agreed to, and checking to make sure that the winds seem good. You see various people going about. There's even a carpenter that seems to be making a small repair on a section of the forecastle. Down towards the front, there is what you can see is some minor damage that looks like happened possibly during a storm. It's nothing major. But yeah, so they that person's kind of making repairs. So various things are going on. The rope maker is carrying bundles and bundles of ropes to make sure that they are set where they need to be for in case of need. And everything is kind of going on around you, just bustling activity. And after a while, the final few crates are carried on to the ship by a very frazzled-looking group of young sailors who look very much like they are brand new to the crew. That you can tell that they are very green. And one of the three of the third one following them is actually the one that took a bit of talking to by Vindra earlier, who dared speak back to an order, and he just looks like the most apologetic person he could possibly. Like, his face is just like, I am so sorry, I did not know who you were, and he just kind of carries the last crate on, and it gets stored into the storage space and is closed away. And two of the other sailors lift the gangway up, and you see Captain Nora Eastbreeze makes her way up to the quarter deck and the poop deck, and takes place behind the ship's wheel, with the navigator standing to her side, just occasionally double checking things and speaking to her quietly. And you hear her suddenly say, "All right, everyone, weigh anchor! It's time to set off to sea."
Huzzah!
And
Huzzah!
yes, and you actually hear a large cheer come from all of the various pirates on the ship. And you hear the slow creak of chains being lifted as the anchor is pulled up. These massive iron chains, and this very elaborate, actually, anchor. You know that a standard anchor kind of it tends to be just simply curved iron attached to the length of chain, but this was actually fairly elaborate and looks like someone of great skill crafted this thing. It has these almost like scroll work looking things in the iron, which seems super extra for an anchor, but is something that it seems to be just to go with the whole aesthetic of the ship. And so as the anchor is raised and the mainsail lowered, the ship begins to slowly make its way out of port, and the crew, sets about bustling back and forth across the deck, taking their places, and you all take your respective places upon the ship. Vendra, you would be joining the captain up top, and the others are just kind of walking. You would be walking kind of along as needed. Marjorie, being the chaplain, there is actually a small chapel inside the ship that is near the captain's quarters. It is not so much a proper chapel as a small compartment with a couple of pews, but you do see at the front there is an elaborate sort of table with the symbol of Mera Fortuna upon it, the goddess of pirates, and so it is makeshift so that the people can come and pray as they might prefer. But yes, so off you are to sea, and the winds are blowing gently. You are making good pace. The waves, you can hear them lightly brushing against the sides of the ship as you are making your way along. And it is a fairly calm day. Is there anything you would like to do?
Renmei is walking around amidships. She actually has her whip coiled up in her hand, but off of her belt, and basically just walking, starting on port side, and then making her way to the starboard side, and to back and forth, keeping an eye, making sure that everyone is doing their jobs, and giving a glare to anyone who isn't, and a slight gesture of the whip, just making sure that they see it, but keeping a close eye on them, especially the new crew.
Mm-hmm. Right, and you can see the new crew are doing their very best to look busy, and some of them are actually busy. Actually, there's one woman who is standing with who you can tell is one of the older sailors that's been around a while, and she's actually you can see her tying off various knots into some ropes and hanging them upon a peg over the side of the ship. You can see then there's another younger sailor with the two of them who is actually checking the sails, making sure everything seems to be catching just the right way, so that the wind is keeping them moving forward as they go. So there is a bit of, and you can kind of hear that the wind is picking up now. The sails are catching more, and they're having to actually kind of make adjustments because they don't want to end up, with a tear in any of the sails because the wind is catching the wrong way. So they are making slight adjustments as they go, but yeah, they're doing their thing.
And remind me, how long of a journey is this going to be?
The Pirate King told you that it would take about half a day, okay. Maybe a little over that.
All right. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vendra will stay at her position up on the quarterdeck, up by the captain and whoever is manning the wheel currently.
The helm?
The helm, yes.
The helmsman.
And Nora will actually look to you and say, I haven't seen quite such a fine day in a very long time.
It is quite a good day indeed.
The ocean has been rather temperamental as of late, and I don't really particularly understand it, especially out here.
Well, the gods must be smiling down upon us today.
Yes. I think you must be right. And she kind of turns back to the navigator and checks something else with him, and you actually down below, now that we've had a little bit of time pass, it's been about 3 hours that you've been on the ship now. Everyone going about their business. You actually hear a bell ring, and you see a person come out from underneath the person who was ringing the bell, and this woman is dressed. She's wearing an apron over her leathers, and she's saying, "Meal time! Everyone on the first crew! It's time to meet in the mess!" And so, like, some of the sailors actually swap out, and you see, it's mainly the younger sailors who are going to get their meal now. You know from experience on your other crews that typically the senior staff are the last to eat their meals, and so you see them swap out and take their places.
Vendor will lean over to Nora after she finishes with the navigator. How good is your cook on board, do you know?
Well, she's one of the finest I've ever met. I think she trained in that one place in the where all the really good cooks come from. You know that place,
Kitchen.
It's Odell. You're thinking of the North Port of Odell.
That one? Yes, all the best cooks and bakers come from there.
Yes, bakers indeed, my mother being one of them.
Oh, well that's right. Fine. Did she teach you any of your skills? Maybe you could help old Mavis out down there.
She tried to teach me. I didn't take to it very well. I took more to the open ocean and adventuring myself, but she's great. One day I'll get a piece of bread for you at some point. I'll bring it back.
Oh, that would be very nice of you. Such
Indeed.
Good hospitality.
She makes a fantastic cinnamon loaf.
Ooh, I am very fond of a good cinnamon loaf.
Keep
And
it in mind.
yes. And so
Renmea mutters under her breath, now I see how he got to be first mate.
But yeah, so then you and Nora actually talk for a bit, just about things in general, cooking, and she's very very interested in your mother's baking skills. But that conversation goes on for a while, and she actually invites the navigator, whose name you learn is Langford Marlowe. She introduces him to you, and he actually starts telling you that he had spent quite a bit of time in the Ordellan Isles back in his early days sailing, and made his way over more recently.
Well, perhaps you knew my father while you were there.
Maybe. What was his name?
I don't know. I never got to meet him. He left when I was quite young.
Oh.
He was an orc, but I'm not sure if you would recognize one of his sorts. I think he might stand out on a crew.
Well, I sailed with a few.
That's unhelpful.
Yeah. It's a little general, say, orc. Anyway.
Like I said, never got to meet him.
Alright. And so he just kind of goes back to, like, looking back at his maps. He clearly doesn't seem to be one that is good at, like, conversing. He seems very much more interested in what is in front of him. So yes. So the ship sails on for another couple of hours. Very nothing particularly of interest pops out. So yes.
Elsindare would love to use message.
Okay.
And he'd like to message Lazarus.
Okay.
As he's just going to go, And then we'll take a bite of the apple that he's chewing on. And
So, Renmea, you suddenly feel a strange kind of tightening of Lazarus against your neck. You don't really understand why he's doing this. He's never done this before. It just seems kind of unusual.
Remea just strokes the snake calmly and says, "What is it, boy? Is there somebody that needs a biting?"
And actually, you are able to speak to Lazarus directly because he can understand you and you can understand him freely. As you're familiar, you just understand each other. And he says, "There's someone inside my head. And it sounds like they're mocking me."
Ah, then there is someone who needs a biting. We shall figure that out and take care of it.
Yes, I appreciate that.
There's a good boy.
And he kind of rubs his head against your hand as you go to pet his head.
Little under the chin. Top of the head between the eyes,
All right, so who is out on the main deck right now?
Unless the change still is a midship, so that'd be on I guess the main deck.
midships.
Yeah.
Marjorie is.
Not me.
Marjorie is. Okay, so everybody who is on the main deck right now, please roll a perception check for me.
Well, okay. I don't know who has problems with Titan dice because mine are wicked. That's a 28.
28,
Ooh.
14,
Yeah.
18.
18. Anyone else?
Actually,
I'm up on the quarterdeck
Okay.
with the captain, so.
perception,
You guys are
yeah, it
talking
is a
about
plus 12.
bread.
Okay. So 18, 28, and Elsendare is not on the main deck?
no.
Okay. Okay.
No. He would have just headed down below.
So,
Like the
Marjorie
stairs, or?
and Remea, you actually spot something off the starboard side of the ship, floating in the waves about 100 yards ahead. There seems to be, it looks like some debris, maybe?
Renmei looks for somebody with the spyglass. Ahoy! Oh, over here.
And you see very well dressed fellow come over to you. A well dressed woman come over to you. Her name is Bess. She introduces herself. She is the master at arms. What can I do for you?
And Renmei points out your spyglass over there, and points to where the debris seems to be.
And she actually reaches
Is
down.
there anything about that?
She reaches down to her belt, and you see there's like a leather pouch that's got a snap on it, and she undoes the snap and lifts the collapsed spyglass out and extends it outward and looks out towards the where the debris is that you've pointed out to her. And she takes a moment and she says, "Oh, by the gods! There's someone out there!" And she gestures toward the debris that you had just pointed out to her. And she kind of shouts this so that everybody can hear. And you can see Nora kind of looked down over the top rail, behind where she is at the helm. "What did you just say? There's someone out there!"
Starboard side, Captain.
Oh, All right. And she gestures to a couple of the sailors to lower one of the smaller boats down into the waves with a group of sailors. Does anyone wish to attend with them to go out? Okay.
Remea jumps into the boat immediately with them.
All right. Did anyone else want to attend with Remea and these 3 sailors? Theodore will be joining.
No, but
Theodore will
Vendra. Oh, great. Vendra will go directly to the port side, and will grab a line of rope.
Right.
As long as she can, have it ready to go.
Okay.
Just in case.
All right. And the small craft is set to the waves with Remea, Teodor, and 3 sailors. And these 3 sailors have introduced themselves as Belle, Digby, and Odella. So, and these sailors are not these are ones that have come out since the shift change happened, basically. And you can tell these are a little more experienced. They know kind of exactly what they're doing. They are still fairly young, but they are not as green as some of the other ones. And so they, pass the oars and start rowing the boat out towards the debris that's in the water. Yes, Josh.
If Elsindir would have heard this commotion, he would have come back up, and before who of those of our party went?
It was Remea and Teodor.
Okay. He'll be like, wait. Be blessed, you're both wonderful, and you as well. As he will boop Lazarus, and he'll cast water breathing on all 3 of you.
All right. So they now have water breathing on them. And you can cast that up as many, actually up to 15 people, I believe.
Holy crap. Yeah, I was looking, it just said living creatures touch, and I was like, freak,
yeah,
I have
it
no
should be
idea.
up to 15 people, because it's 1 per level, if I remember correctly.
Crap.
Yes, it is.
So you can cast it on to up to 15 people, so you could cast it on the other. Yeah, so Elsindir goes through and boops everybody on the nose, casting water breathing on them. A couple of the 2 of the sailors kind of look taken aback, like, why are you touching me? But they, once you explain what you're doing, they give you a grateful nod. Then so the craft is now set off. They're rowing their way through the waves up to this but a floating collection of debris. And as you get nearer, let's see. I would like Remea and Teodor to please both roll me another perception check, please.
That is 21.
21. What'd you say,
Yes.
Vivi?
25.
25. So Teodor actually spots first. There is several large pieces of debris. Like, as you get closer, you can see that there's a good chunk of what looks like part of of another ship's deck. And it's not so large that it would obviously sink, but it is large enough that, a person is able to cling onto it, which is what you see. This person, there is a woman. She's got long, dark hair, and she looks exhausted, completely flat out exhausted. She's got her cheek pressed against this piece of wreckage, and she is clearly clinging on for everything. And as you get closer, you kind of look. She kind of looks up a little bit, but she doesn't lift her head. But you make eye contact with her.
Teodor will look over to Remea. That woman there. Do you see her?
Yes. Is there anything, beyond the exhausted, is there anything unusual about her?
What you can tell about her, because now as you've gotten closer, and you did have a fairly high roll as well, you just saw it secondarily. She's dressed like, any sailor. She's wearing her clothes are very wet in places, obviously. and it looks like her shirt is mostly dry from the top, but you can see where the water's soaked up her back. But you can see like rings of salt, like dried salt, down her sleeves and everything from where it's been in the sun. So it's kind of crusted over in places. Her hair's pretty matted down to her.
So she's been here a while.
It looks to be, yeah.
Renmea calls out, "Ahoy! You in the water!"
And you can see she's trying to speak, but she can't seem to get words out. But as you come closer, the Odella and Belle actually are the ones doing the rowing. They kind of pull the oars in as they come up beside this piece of wreckage, and they kind of try to stabilize as best they can against this. There's actually a hook that's in this rowboat that they put out and kind of pull it, pull the piece of wreckage towards them and kind of hold it in place so that anybody else can help her, like get her into the boat without capsizing the boat.
Renmea bounces with Teodor, "Please help," and tries to make sure we balance as we bring her in. And easy, Les, we got you.
Renmea, very easy for you to trust this woman here. Teodor will take his instrument and place it behind him, and then in place of that, take out his butterfly sword. And we'll stand there. We'll stand to help balance, but we'll have a sword ready at the woman. I think once she's up, we shall tear her up.
I would like you, Renmea, I would like you to make a strength check, please.
Sure.
Can I make a perception check on the ship? What can I see from the ship? Would I have recognized what ship it is?
The wreckage? Yeah, go ahead and make, because it's just mostly floating debris at this point. You don't see the full ship.
So is it just my roll plus my strength modifier?
Strength check, you want to roll under your strength ability score.
Well, that's not good.
Don't roll so high.
Use the bad dice.
Yeah, use the bad dice.
It finally worked against me. I mean, this 20-sided dice has been wonderful, I gotta tell you. Up until now.
What did you roll?
I rolled a 17.
Yeah, and your strength is a 12. So you go to try to lift her, and you can't quite get a good hold of her. So now I need you to make an acrobatics check to make sure that you do not end up...
oh, no.
You have levels in Swashbuckler. You can use Daring Do to add a D6 if you need.
All right, so
which you can say you do after you see the results of the roll, but before Evelyn tells you if it actually succeeded or not.
Yes.
Don't worry, we can all breathe underwater.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah.
I think I might be using Daring Do because that was a 12 total.
12 total? No, you're actually fine. That is enough to keep you from going headfirst into the drink. So you right yourself, and you can attempt to get a hold of her again now that you have kind of righted yourself. You all do feel the boat sway, or the rowboat sway slightly, almost at a frightening angle, but it kind of settles back down again momentarily.
With that, Teodor will grab Renmea's any kind of clothing to kind of stabilize her.
Yeah.
But still, with the other hand, still the sword pointing out towards the woman.
And you were making a perception check, correct?
Yes, I rolled a 17.
A 17? All right. So for that, you kind of look around, trying to spot maybe if there's a bit of the, any of the things that might tell you which ship this is, but there's just not enough of the ship left for you to make out what ship this was. You can, it just there's a barrel floating away, kind of offset in the distance, and various crates and things, and just bits of wood. Yeah. Kind of drifting on, in the waves. But yeah, it seems like she is kind of the only survivor of this wreck.
Is there rope on this little boat that we have?
Yes,
We can
your
tie her up?
rowboat
Okay.
does have rope on it. You never go anywhere without rope.
Teodor will instruct Bigby to tie her up once Renmea gets her on the boat.
Okay. So, Renmea, can you do another strength check for me, please?
Yes. Oh, that's better. 9.
All right. So, with ease this time, now that you have firmly planted yourself and found your balance, you are able to scoop this woman up in your arms, actually, and she is surprisingly light. It was just hard because of all the water soaking her clothes. It was kind of keeping her weighted down into the sea. So, but once you get a hold of her, you can tell she feels like she's probably not eaten in a couple of days. There's very little life in this woman. But Digby does what Teodor asked him to do and binds her hands as they kind of lay her as gently as possible into the rowboat and begin rowing back toward the King's Pride.
As they're doing that, she will check her for weapons and ask her what happened to you.
And she kind of looks towards Teodor and she she's trying so hard to speak, but it seems that she's just so dehydrated that she cannot talk right now.
And she'll just search just to make sure she doesn't have any weapons or anything on her.
Okay, so can you do a let's just do a perception check. That's the best, since there's not an investigate check for...
Yes.
Yeah, just do a perception check.
15 plus 11, so 24?
24? Okay, you search her. You feel a belt around her waist, but you can see that her frog is empty, and she has some very soggy bags which look like the contents have kind of made their ways out of into the water. There's nothing left in them. So yeah, she's just basically sodden with seawater, and she kind of looks at you for a moment longer trying to talk, and she passes out.
Okay. He will stand up and look at Renmea. You shouldn't trust people so quickly. You know we are pirates. This could have been a setup. And you could have injured yourself. And or just fallen off the boat to save somebody who could have killed you.
He looks at Teodor and says, "Hi, Teodor, where's your sense of adventure?"
You can have adventure, but still be smart about it.
I had it well in hand. And with that, just pets Lazarus a little bit more.
All right. So yes, so quietly rowing their way back. Digby, actually, because he's not one of the ones rowing, offers some water forward for this woman. He kind of tilts her head up as gently as possible and gives her little sips. He's seen people dehydrated before. He knows that you're not supposed to give lots of water all at once, so he's just giving her small sips as she's, he's gotten her to stir a little bit, and small sips, and letting her rest as you're making your way back. And once you arrive back, a couple of the other sailors drop ropes down and begin hoisting the rowboat back up and onto the deck with you all inside.
Once Vendor sees that they're coming back with a person, she's going to shout up to the navigator. Navigator, how far are we from our destination?
And he does some quick calculations. About 3 hours more. Maybe 4.
Captain, do you think that this could have been one of the ships that they destroyed? Didn't the Pirate King send multiple ships before us?
Possible. Yes, it could be, but I don't recognize this woman from what I can see of her, at least. So...
If that's the
Yes.
case, she's been in the water for days.
That's not... Yes, we should, go, see if we can figure out who she is and where she belongs. Nora begins to make her way down to the main decks, and goes over to the boat where Ernea and Teodor are currently stepping out with the other three. The woman's still bound and laying in, though Digby and Belle actually go to lift the woman out of the boat and set her as gently as possible down onto the deck. All right, so what do we have here?
Seems to be some woman. I've searched her. She has no weapons.
All
She
right.
seems too dehydrated to speak, but I've tied her up just in case.
All right. So we got no words from her.
No. It appears to be that she's been in the water for a long time. She doesn't have much strength. If we're gonna get any answers, we're gonna need to tend to her a little bit.
All right. And you can see Nora looking around a moment for anyone who might be able to help tend to this woman. Would it, do any of you have medical healing stuff?
And you'll see Marjorie just standing there.
All right, well. No one?
Can we visibly tell that Marjorie looks like she has something to say, but is not saying something?
We could, you
Well,
can
you
make.
all know that she's a chaplain because
Yeah.
she
Oh,
stated it.
Yeah.
I was going to say, don't we have a chaplain on board, Captain?
We should. Right. Ah. Where's that one? And she kind of looks around. Oh, you.
Marjorie will look at Vendra. We do, indeed. But my understanding is we're going into some sort of mischief. And this one right here doesn't seem very helpful, so I'll save my healing for when the mischief begins.
That depends on what your captain asks you to do.
Do you at least have anything to help with the dehydration? More than just some water. I know that sometimes it takes a little more.
Oh. I have an antitoxin, but would that help?
Do a heal check for me.
Nope. Wait, hang on. Wait a minute. Nope.
Nope.
Not a minute.
Okay,
Nope,
well,
and then more nope.
Well, I
with that-
rolled a 7 and I wanted to see if I had anything to add to it.
That's
so
an
it was
extra
an extra nope.
nope.
Exactly.
with that, you hold up your antitoxin and you look at it and you're just kind of like, eh? Because you're not sure. You think
I'll look
maybe.
over at Marjorie. I think you know more than I. Do you think this would help?
Is there someone kneeling down next to the woman?
Digby and Digby is still, because he's been kind of giving her little bits of water as so he's still kneeling kind of next to her.
So Marjorie will reach into a pouch on her side, pulls out a flask, and tosses it to Digby. Try this.
Let me see if Digby catches it real quick here. With a 15, he does. He snags the flask and opens it up. He smells it. What does he smell? Marjorie.
Rum, of course.
Okay. So he kind of is knocked back a little bit and then kind of nods like, yeah, this is the good stuff. And then tips it a little bit down this woman's throat. And all of a sudden her eyes shoot open and she sputters a bit. And she looks around. Where am I? Who are you?
And Marjorie will look back at Vendra. See? And I didn't even have to waste a spell.
And the captain looks down at this woman. You are on the King's Pride. And I am Captain Nora Eastbreeze. And the rest of these people are my crew. And you are... And the woman who... She's struggling a bit against the ropes, confused as to why she's bound. My name's Cordelia. I'm Cordelia Raincrest. How did I get here? The last thing I remember was a storm that stirred up and then a loud crash and the ship was taking on water.
And what ship might that be?
I sailed on the Mermaid's Doom.
Do I
An
trust
unfortunate
her?
name.
You can make a sense motive check if you'd like.
Cool. I would love to.
And actually, no, I'm gonna roll that for you
Ooh.
because you
Teodor
wouldn't
will
know.
be Teodor would still be there, sword still drawn.
Yep. All right. So you kind of glance at her a moment. You're listening to her words, and she seems frightened and a little overwhelmed, but she seems to be telling the truth.
Are there any crew members coming around getting a bit too nosy into this business?
Most everybody is actually still at their stations. The only people that have really come down is the captain. And she, when she came down, she actually gestured to the master at arms to continue just keeping the ship in the helm, so that the ship can stay where it's supposed to be.
Mhm.
On course and everything, so that the captain could kind of come check out what's going on. But everybody else seems to be, dedicated at their stations. They, they have not been called by the captain to come, so they know not to come to this situation there. So, they, other than the previously gathered people, you don't see anybody else.
Was the Mermaid's Doom one? Do we know that the Mermaid's Doom was one of the ships that was sent after it, or?
So you could ask the captain that, because you weren't told which were the
Okay.
ships that were sent.
Captain, was the Mermaid's Doom one of the ships sent in pursuit?
Not that I remember, but there are lots of ships that traverse these waters that are from the neighboring isles, after all. So it's very possible that it could have been one from Brinsley, especially, since that is fairly close to here.
Quick question. Is our ship still moving forward?
Yep.
Okay. So Marjorie's going to step away and lean over the side and continue to look to see where we're going.
Yep. And you can see off, well in the distance, but you can see what you would know from your time sailing as the northern coast of Brinsley. It's very far in the distance, but because of the forested areas there's massive forested areas near that coast, you can actually kind of very, very distantly catch the sight of the treetops, but it's hard to make out. But you know that you're well over deep waters here. This is, you are in the middle of the sea. But yes, so. Thank you, for. I think. Why am I tied up? And she holds her bound hands up.
Marjorie will hear that, look over her shoulder. Why not? And then go back to watching the water.
And the captain kind of says, well, it's always good to be cautious in the case of bringing anybody onto the ship, after all.
And with that comment, Teodor will look over to Renmea.
A pointed look.
I brought Lazarus. What do you want from me?
So Cordelia says, I understand. I just was hoping maybe to not be stuck like this. It's kind of uncomfortable.
Better this than the wreckage you were on.
That's a very good point.
Marjorie will look over her shoulder one more time after hearing that. You're not the only one who is stuck in a situation, so deal with what you're given. And then turns back to the water.
Who is near me?
By you is still Remea, of course, and then the Cordelia seated on the deck, with Digby still next to her, holding the flask of rum in his hand, and then just the captain, because
Vendra's nearby too.
And Vindra, and because Belle and Odella have actually gone back to their stations now that they have finished getting the rowboat into its stow.
With that comment, he'll look over at Marjorie and think, I like her.
All right.
So, Captain, what are we to do with her?
Well, we keep a good eye on her. I think seat her nearby.
I haven't gotten a good look at the ship down below decks yet. Do we have a brig on this one?
Of course. Wouldn't be a good ship without a brig. But I don't see the need. She seems too weak.
I personally agree with your statement
And
there.
she's not armed.
Of course you would.
I would rather keep an eye on her. She's in bad shape from what I can tell.
Once again, Marjorie looks over her shoulder, but this time at Vendra. A first mate that can't tell if a ship has a brig. My goodness.
See, I've been above deck doing my job the whole time. Why don't you do yours and keep an eye on the sick?
Ooh. All right.
I am indeed watching you.
Oh.
Now this feels like a pirate ship. I was beginning to wonder who you people were.
Elsendare cracks open some nuts and is just watching.
All right. Well, we're a good 3.5 hours out now. Maybe 3. I should take my post again, and so should you. Keep an eye on that one, Digby. And he nods. And he stays with Cordelia, seated on the deck. And as you all return to your posts, the ship continues to sail on. The waters still feel very calm, though you can see that there are some clouds beginning to gather ahead a little bit into the sky. It's becoming a little darker as you go. And you can hear a rumble of thunder ahead, maybe? Not quite sure, but you think you might. And the clouds kind of keep getting darker and darker as you continue on the path. And the thunder grows louder, and it begins to rain. And you can actually now hear the... Oops! I clicked a button and everybody went away. Hold on. Sorry about that. Alright. So, Hello. Where'd my scene go? Oh no! Where'd my scene go? Everyone disappeared. Hold on a second.
I look good there.
I don't know what happened.
I like this site a lot.
Hello.
I don't remember casting invisibility.
I don't know what happened just
I
now.
cast Sea Invisibility.
It is a super secret mission.
If you would like, Evelyn, we could go on a quick break.
Let's
while
take
you
break
figure it out.
right now.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go to the break screen. And I will figure this out. So we'll be right back.
That was perfect timing.
Alright, so please take a break. I'm gonna work on this.
Oh, that's super out of tune. Ooh.
Yeah, love it.
Okay, one of my things came back. Okay.
The thing is that this is tuned
So
to-
Terry, Terry's not there.
He also casted invisibility.
I've got my roll for perception pint glass here.
Okay, why did one of you come back but not all of you?
Which one of us came back?
Drinking, Robert?
Thomas.
Dang it.
I am drinking Founder's Dirty Bastard Ale.
Ah.
Come on, come back, friends. I got me back.
Yay.
Yeah,
Baby, come back.
Baby, come back to me.
You
My
any kind of
cat.
fool can see.
Me.
My cat specifically came in the room to walk behind me, just pull one quick tug on the nice
Whole thing came
blanket
down.
setup with the Middle Earth map I have, just to make that go away, and then just left.
I love
What a good
them.
cat.
What a great cat. They'd be
Guys,
a horrible dog.
get cats. They're good animals.
I have
Do you know
one.
what's funny? I have a cat too, and she does not knock down any of my stuff. Like, I have dice all
So
over my
dumb.
desk, and she never knocks them down ever.
See, our cat likes to be as vertically high as possible because she's like a sentry. She likes to look over things. And so she will go out of her way to pull at things until she can get up.
Makes
I needed something to put in my flasks, so
Oh,
Ooh, how
Jim
fun.
Beam.
Okay, almost got everybody back now.
It's not rum, Robert. What's up with that?
Yeah.
I've got rum. I could do rum.
You should do Everclear.
Just,
I've done Everclear, Josh.
it's not,
You need more.
No one needs more Everclear.
no one owns a cat. They allow us to be associated with them.
Yes.
I like that in chat. That is
Yes.
remember,
100%.
dogs have masters, cats have staff.
Okay. I got all of our faces back.
Hey,
Yay.
love to see it.
Well, that's a neat trick since Terry's not at his seat.
Well, all of the faces that are here, I've got them all back. I don't know what happened there, but it was fun and exciting for too long.
Robert, how dare you pick up on my character choice of she just says yes to everything the captain says? Of brown nose.
Did you catch the familiar faces in the crowd tonight? Because I
I feel like you've
mentioned.
thrown some names around that are
I've-
maybe famous characters from
No,
other
I've
pirate things.
mentioned some characters that should be familiar faces by their descriptions, not by their names.
I did not write a single
Like
description.
Millie, correct?
Yes, like Millie, she is the Pirate King. or at
Yep.
least this universe's
figured
This
version.
iteration,
You
yeah,
used
yeah.
her voice. As soon as you used her voice, I was like, "That's Millie's voice."
Yeah.
I'm like, "How dare you use her voice? How dare
Very
you?"
original.
They don't
Millie
bring
has
that
to
voice
live on in
back.
some way.
And also the pirate with the pigeon on his shoulder is Cade.
I was gonna say, was that Kate?
That was Cade. With the huzzah and the pigeon on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wasn't drunk enough.
Never drunk enough.
Yes.
Surprises me how a sober Jenny does a very good job at a drunk Kate.
Drunken Cade, yes. But yes, so those were our familiar faces this eve that made
We
their
need more
appearances.
swashbucklers in our campaigns.
know.
It's a good class,
It
guys.
is. It's so fun.
That's too good.
Honestly, a 15th level swashbuckler is very good.
I really wanted to get there.
Oops.
He will.
Sad music. Sad music.
Womp womp.
Cade will, unless he starts taking all of his levels in Bard.
Yeah, Cade's close. But, first level Bard is pretty awesome.
Yeah, you don't really need to take much after first level Bard if you're just gonna multi-class.
Well, and I feel like for Cade it's kind of just the little spice on the
Yeah,
spice on the character.
Yeah, the spice of life. I am very excited for combat, though. I hope that we get into something fun.
Oh, that will be fun. Go ahead.
Unfortunately, Fraley, I do not have access to the rare abilities of Cade Cardinal, such as fancy footwork. No. Too advanced for even me.
Swashbucklers, whatever.
I think it was Stealthy Finesse.
Stealthy Finesse, and then the most recent one was, what was the one that he added the other day?
Swashbucklers.
Oh my
I was
gosh.
trying-
There are 47 messages in the one-shot group. Holy cow,
Yeah.
guys!
Oh, sorry.
They were sending lots
Mostly
of gifts.
Titanic.
That's
yes.
fine. You're good. I'm just surprised because I haven't had Discord open.
Notice the first mate says in one of the messages, "All right, focus up, crew."
And then everyone proceeds not to
Proceeds to not focus up and continue sharing gifts.
Flashy Flourish. That was the other one.
Flashy flourish. Yes, indeed.
Yes. As close to that as possible. Okay, we have everyone back now?
Yeah.
Everyone good and settled? Okay,
Huzzah.
we shall return to live. And we're back!
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
Thank you all for being patient with me while I restored our faces. As, we like to be able to see our beautiful players. Yes, we are now back. And we are resuming our adventures on the sea with this lovely crew. So as we come back, you see that like I said, the rain is actually starting to grow heavy. The sky is getting dark. You hear the sounds of thunder rumbling off in the distance, and you can see the occasional flash of lightning. But fairly far off in the distance. So you don't think
Have the winds really picked up?
not yet. They don't seem to be picking up yet. They're still blowing. They are blowing harder than they were earlier, but it is not much more intense necessarily than you would expect. It's not a terribly violent storm.
But the storm still seems to be picking up in strength.
Yes, the rain is starting to fall harder as you go along.
Vendor will walk
Captain,
up to the,
Shall we lower the
pilot.
sails?
And the captain, she looks down at you, and she gives a aye. Let us get these sails lowered. We don't want to rip a hole at any of them. Wind's getting too
You
strong.
heard the captain.
And
Got to
so,
move on.
various people take their places and grab ropes, undo them, and begin to lower the sails down. As you can hear, the rain growing heavier and much more frequent as you go. You can see everyone is well sodden now. But, you know, they're used to it. They've sailed on ships before. And so, you know, continue on. The waves are actually growing a bit higher.
Is Cordelia up with us on the...
Cordelia's still where she was with Digby.
Okay. Vendor will go down to her.
And you can now hear, and as you do that, you can now hear the winds are actually starting to pick up some.
Okay. Cordelia, is this starting to look a bit familiar?
Yes, it was like this when the ship wrecked.
Vendor will then shout up to the captain through the wind. Captain, we're beginning to look a bit weary. Cordelia says this is looking similar to when her ship crashed.
Alright, well, best take it
Perhaps
carefully.
we come to a stop, wait the storm out?
I
I advise against moving forward, Captain.
Renmea turns to Ventra. Are you suggesting we drop anchor?
At least pull the sails all the way to the top and wait.
And you look up and you see that the sails are actually completely lowered down since the captain called for them to be lowered, as that is the safest place for them to be stowed when the winds are very high like this. So you can see they're all, you know, you have the masts and, you know, everything. It looks bare at the moment with the sails tied up.
Renmea turns to Vendra as if Vendra has lost his mind, and says, "Are you daft, man? You're going to drop anchor in the middle of a storm? The waves will tear the ship apart, and we'll lose everything. Have you never sailed in bad weather before?
It's been a while.
Apparently taking the easy life."
While all this discussion is happening, Marjorie just looks at Vendra, eye cocked.
Do we have we obviously have rooms.
Yes, there are cabins. There are cabins, especially for the major crew member. There's a big hold for the sailors, but each of the titled positions, they have their own cabins.
Okay. Teodor will head to his cabin just to stow away his instrument, for salt is terrible on that poor instrument, and then head up.
And anybody who's looking can kind of see everyone is now very, very focused. They're keeping eyes ahead, especially out on the horizon. And Cordelia is looking back and forth, very
Does it seem that the
frightened.
storm is coming at us, or that we entered the storm?
It looks as if you had sailed into the storm.
Okay.
Renmea is walking about, basically just doing a tour of the ship, yelling at anyone and everyone to lash everything down.
Including themselves, Vendra will remind. Captain, perhaps we should make about and go around this. I don't believe it is best course of action.
And suddenly you hear the strike of lightning very close to the ship. As it strikes down, and you can actually see the ripples of electricity scatter on the ocean's surface. And I would like everyone who's still on the deck to make a perception check, please.
First roll.
Don't worry about it.
What would you roll, Josh?
All of my rolls have been low.
No. You might beat me.
22.
Okay.
23.
Actually,
3. Okay.
actually, that's true. 16.
Okay. 16. And Vindra.
6.
Oh yeah. All right. So, Elisandar, Marjorie, and Renmea, you actually catch sight of a very large wave coming towards the starboard side of the ship, and it is kind of curling over and it actually like completely deluges the deck as it like cascades, the water cascades across, and the ship actually kind of tilts heavily at that wave, you know, coming across the deck. And you see actually Cordelia, whose hands are still bound, slide significantly with this like sudden gush of water, and she's actually going towards
I was near her. Can I notice that and try and prevent that from occurring?
You can try make a acrobatics check for me.
Oh, good.
You
Give
just
me one of
watch
my
her go.
strong
You're like,
suits,
oh,
please. Oh, how sweet. A problem.
Well, since she's going that way anyway.
You said acrobatics?
Yes.
Oh, good. You've given me no ranks in this. Let's see how good the roll is. I might have to use Daring Do.
Eric Do!
I'm not even going to choose to use Daring Do because it's not going to get much better than a 5.
Oh.
With +0, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, so she is actually carried significantly toward the opening on the in the forecastle on the side.
Is she
Yes,
within
Elsinore.
whip distance? Oh, God.
Elsinore tied to the mast, because he has tied himself to the mast. He has his arms free, though, and be like, no. And he will, like, pull her backwards using, I think, hydraulic blast.
Okay.
Hydraulic push. Hydraulic push to try and push her back onto the ship. I know that's a weird use of the spell.
No, but I dig it. I see what you're doing here. So
I see Vendra go for her. I'm like, whoop, catch.
Okay. And since she is not an opponent, I'm not going to make her roll a check against that. So she is pushed back towards the center of the ship suddenly with this burst of water, and actually it's as if the water that was coming aboard the ship kind of turns up and focuses itself into a jet of water and just kind of shoves her back the other way.
Elsie uses water beam.
Yes, exactly. And she's just like very confused what happened, but kind of looking around like and up at the sky, like she's saying a silent, grateful prayer to the gods that she is still aboard the ship because she does not want to go back into the ocean.
Someone
And,
secure her,
Yeah, I will then run over and
please.
lash her with myself to the nearest railing.
All right, and so you do that. I need everyone who's on deck to make another perception check, please.
Please, higher than a 5.
Hey!
Evelyn,
Yes,
are you sure you blessed my dice?
I did.
or curse them.
I blessed them.
Dirty 20 for me.
A natural one. Oh, you see nothing. And you dirty
Someone
20.
mentioned bird poop earlier. That probably actually
25 for
25?
Renmea.
Okay.
33.
Oh,
Ah!
33.
Nice.
All right.
I
So
see every raindrop fall from the sky.
Marjorie, you are the only one who sees this with your 33.
Wow.
You see the flash of something shiny go from the port side of the ship across to the starboard side in seconds.
front or backside.
Just midships. She just sees a flash of something silvery going from one side of the deck, or from one side of the ship underneath the water, from one side to the other.
Unfortunate. And Renmea is still on the deck, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
All right. So, ignoring Vendra and ignoring Elsinore, Marjorie's going to look at Renmea. There seems to be something in the water. I do believe of something that's fairly quick. I don't know what it was, but I just caught an instance of it.
And while you talk,
Very calmly in the middle of a storm.
yeah,
Indeed.
and while you speak, Suddenly, you hear a
Good.
burst of breaking water as a giant serpentine form rises from the waves, and you hear a cry out as what you see, this massive silvery sea serpent roars at you from the decks, or from the port side of the ship.
Okay.
And suddenly you start to hear a
It's always with the laugh. Why has it got to be a laugh?
and you see Cordelia's shape begins to fade away, and she grows larger and larger, and her dark-haired form becomes massive, and her body no longer ends in legs, but 3 wolf heads and tentacles, as this massive form,
Wait, what?
yes, as this massive form is now sitting atop the ship. And I need you all to roll initiative.
Oh,
By
goodness.
the way, as this is happening,
Yeah.
Renmea turns to Teodor and says, "Sorry," and flips her a gold piece.
Marjorie.
He'll grab it, and he'll look at him or her and be like, "If I had my instrument right now, I'd sing you a damn song, and I told you so song."
All right, so who would like
And
to
Marjorie
roll?
will turn to Marjorie will turn to Vendry real quick and say, "I'm glad we kept her around."
So, who's rolling our initiative? It is group initiative, as normal. So, who will be rolling for the group?
I can roll it as first mate.
Vendra, you've been rolling horribly.
I'm fine, Chuck.
That on D20s. You
You're-
see,
you're-
when I roll,
If you roll a 1 on this, we're killing you.
I'm
And
done.
remember,
no.
and remember,
Done.
you as swashbucklers. Anybody who has a swashbuckler has a
Oh,
plus
right.
1 because you have swashbuckler's initiative.
And a fine job you've been doing as well.
I didn't roll a 1, you see, because
You
I
rolled
rolled
a 2.
But that does mean it is a 3.
And the DM rolled a 2.
Hey,
So you win initiative.
you're welcome, Josh.
We're killing him. We are killing him.
And
Theodore's the new captain.
as you prepare your actions, you hear Cordelia speak. You should have listened to your friends. I hope you like my pet. As she gestures towards the giant sea serpent, and
So yeah.
That happens.
So currently it looks like Renmea is closest to combat. So Renmea, what would you like to do?
Okay, so the serpent is in the water. Cordelia is where?
So
compared to the-
look on Twitch. I have the Tailspire map open for you.
So she is the thing amidst those 4 tentacles.
Oh,
Yes, she is.
wow! I feel like I'm back in a WoW raid.
It's very dark, but
Here,
it's because
let me
it's a storm,
light
so I
this
get
up a little bit so you can see better. There you go. Let me apply to game board. There we go. You should be able to see a little better now.
All right.
And you are the teal ring, by the way, there, Renmea. So you are this one right here. I'm currently clicking on you.
Okay. Well, in that case, Renmea is going to use her whip and basically try to get at Cordelia's neck.
Cordelia's neck. Okay, so you're gonna have to close some distance for your whip to be
Yep.
able to reach that. So let's see.
Careful
you
to stay
can-
out of the tentacles' reach, though.
Yeah. So what's the reach on your whip?
That's a good question.
It's 10 feet there of movement.
Where would it have its reach?
I'm gonna click it. Hold on. So Renmea
It's
whip.
probably
Show item. Okay, so
Not seeing a reach in there.
So it is. You can do this within melee range, so you're gonna have to move a little closer to be able to catch her with the whip.
Okay.
So you can try to scrabble up on the railing if you'd like to. You will not be able to attack this
Yes.
round if you move further.
Yeah,
So would you like to
let's
scrabble
do
up
the
kind
railing.
of? Okay. So she's
Yes,
gonna
please.
give me a quick dex check. Just roll under your dex.
All right. Let's see what.
It is 10 feet, just so you know.
Yeah.
Nope.
So nope. So she tries to scrabble up, but there's too much water accumulated, so she kind of slips down and just kind of lands right in front of this tentacle right here. All right. Next up, we have Elsendare. You're purple. Your base is purple,
Perfect. I'm still tied to the mast as I like to be.
which is kind of where you are actually.
Yeah, it's honestly, I thought you did that on purpose. So he's just kind of, all right.
And
Yeah, no, I think I'm good to stay.
and you can see both Cordelia and the serpent from where you are currently standing, just so you know, tied to the mast. So they are within your line of sight to cast if you so choose to do that.
Well, he is going to cast defensive shock on himself.
All right.
And that's his standard action, and he can't move. So
Yep.
he's chilling, and that's
Okay.
pretty much all he's doing.
So in case you get
Bibbidi
struck,
bobbidi bam.
in case you get struck, you'll shock whoever strikes you.
Also, as what's the creepy tentacle wolf woman's name?
Cordelia.
Cordelia. As he sees Cordelia change, he'll be like, that takes a whole new wording to sea dog. Oh dear lord. That will end his turn.
All right. So next up we have Teodor. Teodor, what would you like to do?
How far away am I from everything?
You
Which
are
base am I?
you are red,
Okay.
looking like a total bamf. Bamf.
And I have water breathing, correct?
I
Yes.
don't remember how long that lasts.
Last 30 hours. So,
So yes, you still have water breathing.
Okay, so the
Freaking
head is
hell.
on that side. Just looking out onto the other side of the ship, in the middle, across from where the head is. Is there anything on that side?
There you don't see anything. If you could go closer to the edge of the ship to see if you spotted anything else in the water, but you can't see anything from where you're currently standing.
Okay. And how far from where I am to the edge of the ship?
It's about 10 feet.
10 feet?
Yeah, it looks like it.
And then, I think I have swim. I don't know how far I could swim if I move 10 feet. How does that work?
So if you move 10 feet, then you would have to jump over the edge of the ship. So that would take, so that'd be about, I would say, another 5 feet of movement. And then if you're wanting to swim, then it would just be your normal movement if you have freedom of movement. If you do not have freedom of movement, your movement's going to be halved in the water.
Okay, then she'll just move towards the tentacles that are on the that are
Okay.
on the ship.
So you're going to come up. Did you want to come up the side closer to the Sea Serpent, or where Renmea is currently?
Where Renmea is currently.
Okay.
Um,
Do you want to take your full movement?
yeah, I'll do that for now.
Okay. So 10, 25 to there. All right. So you are there. Next up is Marjorie. You are yellow base.
Marjorie's going to summon monster.
All right. What would you like to
Hey.
summon?
Marjorie is going to summon a giant squid.
Giant squid. Wait, and where are you going to plop your giant squid?
Right next to the little bastard in the water.
So the sea serpent? Okay.
Hey,
Let's see. Let me grab my sea
But
things.
I'm not even in the water.
Oh, ha 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 ha. Okay, let me. Where are the second. I gotta find it because these categories are fun. There he is. Okay, we're gonna call this guy our giant squid. Ah! Okay, we're gonna come this way. We're gonna turn around. And we're gonna plop him. Oops, I don't want you. Go away. Dice. Okay, so we're gonna plop him. Oh, he's gonna go under the water. Hold on. I need to put some things that he can sit on in here. Fun things.
Fun things.
Okay.
And it acts immediately on my turn.
Excellent. Alright, so let me grab him again now. And he's gonna be sitting. Hey, you, come here. Sit. There. There we go. Okay. So I'm gonna close that.
Hey, good squid.
Okay. So he's kind of there. His little head's poking out of the water a little bit.
You can also cause him to fly, so then
That's, yes. Lift him up a little more. Tools.
Flying squids.
Nope. That's not the one. Hands up.
Squid
Oh, yeah,
NATO.
the ballistas.
Squid NATO.
Yeah, now he's floating a little bit in the water. So. Yeah.
Squid
cute.
Ballista.
There's our giant squid. Alright, so now he's facing off against the sea serpent. And you said you can attack on your turn with it, so go ahead and
Correct.
make your attacks.
And if I'm reading this correctly, a full attack is 10 tentacles and a bite.
Okay, yeah, do it.
So do you want me to roll
Each
my
tentacle
attack
and your
for
bite.
every
Yep,
tentacle?
do it.
Alright.
And I'll tell you what hits and what doesn't.
Ooh,
I think I'll just go to the bathroom and take a.
So that's going to be 34.
That'll hit.
Let me double check my numbers.
Freak, man.
I'm sorry, 33.
Yeah, that'll hit.
So aren't you
Okay.
glad it's not an octopus?
That'll be
So we get 2 more
21.
attacks.
That'll hit. Oh, no, that'll miss. 21 misses.
Okay. Okay, that's going to be 34.
That'll hit. That's 2 hits.
Okay. 2 hits, 1 miss. Okay, that's going to be a 33 again.
That'll
Harry's
hit.
just gonna win.
That's not. That's
Death
going to
by
be
squid.
19.
That'll miss.
Elsinder's happy. with
That's a
it.
nat 20.
Hey!
That'll definitely hit.
Yay!
Confirm your crit, please.
Oh my god.
oh, literally death by tentacle.
And if you have the bonus to crit confirmation, double check that because some of you have a +4 to your crit confirmation.
Well, but this is a monster, so I don't think.
Yeah,
that
this is
would
a monster.
benefit
Oh, right,
from
right,
that.
right.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be a 24 to confirm.
24 to confirm, and you don't have anything else to add to that?
No, it's 15 plus 9.
Yep, that does not confirm, but you did hit.
Okay.
Oh.
So what are we up to?
That
4,
was
5?
5 hits, if I remember.
5 hits, 2 misses, right?
Yep, 5 hits, 2 misses.
Okay. That's gonna be 29.
That will hit.
That's gonna be 34.
That'll hit.
One more.
So
Damn.
one
more.
more.
Mhm.
I'm glad somebody's keeping count. Oh, that won't. That's 17.
So that misses. So that was
7 hits, 3 misses.
So please
Okay,
roll your
so then
damage
one
for
bite.
7.
And the
And,
and
wait,
the bite.
and one
Oh,
bite.
And the
yes.
bite.
Oh, and
Don't forget your
bite.
bite.
Gotta remember the bite.
Yes.
That's gonna be a 31.
That'll hit as well. So
8
All
roll
right.
your 8 hits, please.
So it's 1d6 plus 8 for each. So the first one is gonna be 11.
Okay.
That's gonna be 12.
Okay.
Well, that's gonna be on the floor, so it doesn't matter. That's gonna be 11.
Okay.
That's going to be 14.
Nice.
That's gonna be 13.
Okay.
That's gonna be 10. How many more
Okay.
tentacles do I
3. 2 more
10
tentacles.
tentacles.
have? Okay.
And
That's gonna be another 14. And that's going to be a 12. And then,
then your
the
bite.
D8.
You've
plus
almost
4,
done 100 damage.
2d8. That's gonna be 14 for the bite.
111 damage. That is ridiculous.
What, you said
welcome to
14 for
level
the
15
bite?
cleric.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. 111 damage. And so okay, let me do some math really quick because that was a lot.
Like,
Okay.
No, it wasn't. That was a small amount of damage.
You see these tentacles. Anybody who is near there right now, you see the tentacles of this creature just lash out over and over again, striking this snake back and forth. Its head getting whacked one way then the other. Actually, does your giant squid have a grapple as their one of their things tied to their?
Yes, it does.
So, would you like to try to grapple?
Yeah, of course I would.
Sea Serpent. Okay. So roll the
49.
CMB.
Well,
Yes.
oh, okay.
Your CMB.
I was
So add it
There's add my CMB. Oh, see, I'm looking at online at a.
Oh, it's for the squid.
animal.
Yeah.
for the squid.
Yeah.
The squid CMB against.
Yeah, it's not showing on this page.
Okay, let me see if I can.
All it shows is base attack, grapple.
Let me pull that up.
Oh, it's
really
got a
quick.
grapple
I have
modifier?
Yeah, it's got a grapple modifier.
Okay, well, we'll add that as well. But the CMB is what? Well, let me pull up the book real
It
quick.
might
if I can pull
honestly
it up.
be what the grapple modifier is, Evelyn. It might just be calculating that outright.
Yeah, and I'm just
Because you said you rolled like a 48, right?
But at 49 total, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
So a 20 plus 29.
Giant.
Yeah, I critted my grapple.
the
Yeah.
CMB modifiers are gross.
Yeah. So yeah. Yep. You just beat actually. It's
and
CMD.
With a successful grapple check, I deal 1d6 plus 8 damage.
Okay, do that. So
So that's going to be 11.
so that puts him at that much.
20.
Okay. All right. So as I said, the tentacles lash out, smacking this serpent in the face over and over again, and the giant squid bites on, and as its last tentacle wraps around the serpent's neck right below its head.
And he can use a free action, right, here?
If he has a free action.
He does have a free action.
Okay, then use your free action.
He would like to emit a cloud of jet black ink 20 feet high by 20 feet wide by 20 feet long as a free action. I want to be a squid in every one I play now.
Just so you are aware, everyone on is there a save for this, or is it just? I think.
Is it only in the water?
Yeah, I would assume it's only in the water.
It's only in the water. So
Yeah.
it provides total concealment.
All right.
All vision within the cloud is it says cloud. I'm gonna say
But it was
in the
a cloud in the water. So yeah, you see, then you see all of the ink kind of start to spread out. The serpent's head is obviously above water still, and so is your squid's. But shall they go underwater, and shall anybody else join them? They will find themselves unable to see very shortly. All right.
Water, you can't breathe
I
in.
think I didn't jump into the water.
Is that everything? Was that everything you wanted to do, Marjorie?
that is everything the squid can do.
Everything
so
and more.
we're done.
Awesome. Thank you, Damn Weirdo 2, for the bits. Thank you very much. All right. So with Marjorie done, that now leads us to Vinmaya. Or not Vinmaya, Vindra.
Vinmaya.
I made you one
Name.
person.
So I am
Vindra.
the melee fighter who's the furthest away from
You
either
are.
of the fights.
You are.
But I know ships quite well, and
Yep.
I've seen a couple Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
You stayed at Hollywood Express last night.
A rather tight rope that looks like it might have a nice counterweight at the other side of it that I could cut that would carry me nearly over the center of the ship over this wolf woman.
You can see there's a couple of ropes that are attached to the sails currently, but there's nothing that's pulled taut at the moment that would allow you to have that counterweight.
You don't
so
want
you
to have
could-
any fun.
No, I'm just all the sails are down.
But it's raining, and I don't want to run. Trying to think like what else I could do to get up there that would be more fun than just I run up there. I mean, it's that easy. I think.
So you're gonna just take as much movement as you can.
Yes.
Do you want to come the side where the Sea Serpent is on, or do you want to get behind Renmea and Teodor on the other side of the ship?
I mean, the squid looks like it's got the Sea Serpent pretty well.
I mean, it's
handled. I don't
grapple. You
think
can
I
see
gotta worry
the
about it.
tentacle starting to wrap around his neck because obviously this is simultaneous action.
I will go around the side that the serpent is on.
Okay,
Unworried. Mildly worried that a big squid also appeared, but it seems like they're tussling, so.
So yeah, there you go. So you've made your as far as you can move this round. Now it's the monster's turn.
Feels like an effective first turn.
All right, so
I mean, as far as first turns go, it's not 10 attacks plus a grapple of
Yeah.
some other stuff,
And,
but I mean, it's pretty good, right?
Just wait till
Right.
next round.
Yeah.
well,
Ah.
so now Cordelia here she sees Remea before her and some of the crew members around her, and she begins to strike out with her tentacles and some bite attacks. So all 4 tentacles will attack, and so will the wolf head bites will bite out towards the people within melee range of her. So now I get to roll a die to determine who she's going to be attacking. So let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 people within melee range. So
Is that really as far as I got with my full movement?
yes, that was your 25 feet. You were pretty far back and at an angle. So that will
Well, but
be.
wouldn't I have sprinted at double move?
Did you want to do that? You want to sprint?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then it'll get you up there. And now you are in the line of attack as well.
Fantastic. That's what I wanted.
Yes,
One of us. One
I
of us.
appreciate you.
Okay, that person's going to be attacked.
We're in combat, right? Might as
And
well
that
be in
person's
it.
going to be attacked.
That's true.
That person's going to be attacked.
I love how she doesn't say who it is.
I know, right?
That
It's-
person.
That person.
She's actually
that
just
person.
taking
Okay.
Elsendare.
All right,
Just
I
like,
feel-
pa.
What did
So-
that person ever do to you?
The first tentacle lashes out at the half-orc woman near the railing over here. That's near near Avendra, and that will be a 42 to hit.
Doesn't hit.
That misses.
That's 13
However-
points of damage. Well, that's not to you, so that's to the other. That's
Great.
to the other orcish woman.
Well,
You
bye,
can see,
Vendra.
you can see her actually. She gets smacked so hard that she flips backwards overboard, and she is now off the ship. So bye.
You have water breathing.
Might be a safer location to be right now.
And now she finds herself surrounded by inky blackness. The
That was cool.
The next attack is on Vendra. That
Whoa, wait,
is-
before you tell me what it was,
Okay.
I'm gonna try opportune parry and riposte.
Yeah.
All right. All right.
yeah.
All right. So.
All right, so let's see. So I am
Use your
going to.
panache.
What it essentially works is I have to spend 1 panache, and I also roll against you. If my roll is higher, your attack misses.
Right. So
I'm
I will.
adding my
roll.
big boy number to this.
Okay.
29.
That and attack. She has a 33.
Ah,
So
Evelyn, you definitely cursed these dice.
I did not curse them. But she has a 33, so unfortunately your parry and riposte do not work. And she hits you. The second attack, and actually let me do that damage real quick.
You don't have to.
For 7
It's
points
okay.
of damage.
Oh,
She rolled a 1, so 7 points of
Oh.
damage.
I
The
mean,
next strike was out at Remea with a 34 to hit.
I'd like to also use a
Opportune
panache
parry and riposte.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, go for it. So see if you can block that 34
16 plus.
plus your attack with your weapon.
Where?
So base
And
attack
you
bonus
have an
plus your
advantage too, Robert.
yes
His attack bonus, so that would be 29.
plus your
I guess.
weapons attack, which is you have a plus
Uh,
13, correct, on your primary attack.
Wait. So the base attack bonus, I've got the base attack bonus, which is 13.
Yep,
So
and
I got-
your rapier's
that's-
attack bonus is a 13 for your first attack.
Oh, okay.
If you're
yeah, that's,
using your rapier.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the parry and riposte will not work unless you want to use that advantage that Kristen just gave you to
Wait.
roll.
No,
Hold on,
it
hold,
was
hold
for
on a
me.
second.
It wasn't for.
Is it
Oh.
13?
For
It's
Robert.
the base attack bonus plus.
Y'all
the
are
weapon?
getting him all
Sorry.
excited.
It's your rapier has the basic attack bonus added to your rapier's bonuses. So what it looks
Okay.
like is your rapier's bonuses is a 0 basically for that weapon. So there's not any additional
Okay.
addition to your.
Okay, so
basic
I
attack
am at 20. I am at 29 total.
Yeah,
then.
so then the parry and
Okay.
riposte does not work against the 34, and you are hit for also 9 points of damage.
Rude.
So a tentacle lashes out at the two of you, and the final tentacle hits Teodor.
Oh, poop.
Or is lashing out at Teodor, I should say. I have not rolled
Okay,
the.
I will also opportunity propose.
Oh, hold on a second.
Not
I have to confirm this.
Not 20!
It could be a fumble.
No,
I have to
I
confirm
wanted.
this.
I wanted to be. a
Oh,
nat 20.
yep.
She's rolling dice though. It's gonna.
See, this is.
That-
You guys-
Okay, now I have to confirm our roll
You guys haven't
percentile
gotten the
dice.
experience of being in the same room as John while he does this. It's terrifying. I
Oh,
know
it
that
is.
he does it over stream, but it's very different when you're in person. He just
different when
pulls
he's
out a
there.
binder.
Yeah, and then you're
It's
like,
just
oh,
like-
no.
Right.
You can feel
So,
the tension in the room.
Man,
Teodor, you see that her tentacle somehow manages to go wild as it tries to strike at you, and she has opened herself up to attack, so you get a free attack of opportunity right now.
it's a fumble.
Yeah.
She fumbled.
I will attack with my butterfly sword then.
Okay.
Butterfly sword.
You have a sword made out of butterflies?
It
Yeah, it
turns the
does.
creature into
Gives
a
you
butterfly.
little gentle kisses.
Butterfly kisses.
And Vivi, just so you know, as a skald, because this
Okay.
is a thing you can do, if you play your raging song during combat, you can give all of your compatriots bonuses.
I was reading that.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So it's yourself plus everybody else would get a +4 to strength, +4 to con, +4 to their will saves, and a -1 to their
Right.
ACs if they choose to take it. So if you
If
choose
they
to do
choose.
that,
Yeah.
if you choose to do that, you currently can do that as a free action
Swift
or swift
action?
action.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So
Yeah. That's what I was.
after
reading.
you
It's
make
a
your
very
attack on your
long-
Yeah, so after you make your attack, or before you make your attack on your turn, you can apply that, and all of your buddies will get the bonuses.
Would I be able to do that now then, or? Is
No, because this is a reaction. So,
Okay.
but you can do
Cool,
that
cool,
on
cool,
your
cool,
next turn, just so you know.
13 plus. What's my bonus with that? Why is the attack bonus different?
So your
Because
base
the
attack
weapon
bonus
has
doesn't
modifiers.
include, there's weapon modifiers for the butterfly sword. So
and your skills, so like strength
Yeah.
or dex.
Yeah,
So-
so just plus 16, plus 11.
yeah,
Yeah, so
so
it's the first
so
one.
it's your plus
first one?
16 because you
Plus
every
16.
attack of opportunity is the first amount.
Oh, okay. So 27 total.
27.
Yeah.
27 misses. So though you have clear, actually no, because she opened herself up. I'm lowering that down to her. Yeah, so that's gonna actually hit because she did
Ooh,
open herself up.
yay.
So go ahead and do your damage.
5 total.
5 points of damage. Awesome. Okay, so
5 butterfly kisses.
5 butterfly.
Kisses.
Okay.
The butterfly kisses
do
and
this.
squid attack.
All right. So now that is okay. She said. Okay. So now she's going to take all of her bite attacks. The wolf heads on her snarl and bite out around her. So all 4 of them. That's going to be that person. Me. That person. Okay, so 2 attacks on this sailor right here. So let me double check the damage on that. Or I have to roll damage. Sorry, I had to choose people first. Okay. Okay, that one hits and does. That one also hits and does. Okay, so the person right here in the green, they are chomped down on by these wolf heads, and you can see he just gasps as these teeth sink into his midsection as he's bitten twice by the heads around her body. Then Renmea and Vindra both are. She strikes out at both of you with the wolf heads. That is a 34 to hit Vindra, which I believe hits.
Nah, it misses.
For 7 points of damage.
Okay.
And that's another natty one. To confirm the miss against Remea now.
Maybe I cursed your dice.
Okay. That one is just a miss. It does not fumble. So Remea, you see this head kind of start to like snap towards you, and you turn your body to avoid the teeth quickly as you see it coming, and you avoid being hit. So next up is the Sea Serpent, and it is currently bound, so it's going to try to break the grapple and get
Good
free.
luck.
So it's going to roll a strength check. Now it just has to roll underneath its strength, and then we'll see if it can start to do that, and then it'll roll against the CMD of your squid if it is successful on a strength check. Okay, it was successful in its strength check, so it is going to now roll its CMB against your giant squid's CMD. And that is a 48 to try to break free of the grapple. What was your grapple bonus?
29.
Okay, so it does break free of the grapple, and that is going to be its turn because it can't do anything else. Now
Hey,
that
we'll
it
take
is
it.
free.
We'll take it.
You just keep
So-
grappling it. It keeps breaking away. You just keep grappling.
So
You
now,
got it.
roll initiative again.
Come on, Vendra.
All right, you guys know.
You're gonna roll a
I
one,
am gonna roll not a 1.
but a
What
2.
is it?
It's a 1.
Ah!
DM
Who
has-
would have
Wait.
foreseen?
Wait, don't
Here's
we
me
have
too.
You plus one.
what's that?
Yeah, you have a plus one.
Someone did
Yeah, plus
donate
one.
500.
Yeah,
which
Dan
could give us, in theory-
Weirdo left for the stream, so we do not know what Dan Weirdo wanted to give that for.
Oh no no
Oh.
no! He whispered me.
No.
Yeah.
No. No.
He whispered in my ear.
DM has a
In your ear.
5, so even
Yeah,
if you
well,
were to have
it
a
wouldn't
plus
even
2, it does not
Alright.
help you. So,
I'm sorry,
Yes.
guys.
so now this.
What
on
did you
me.
say before? I will not roll a 1.
Yeah.
Roll a 1.
It's confidence.
We're gonna go with the Sea Serpent first here. The Sea Serpent's
You
actually
did con us.
the Sea Serpent is going to see this giant squid in front of us and start biting out and slapping it with its tail. So let's see. Bite, attack
hot.
first.
Stop.
Stop the
Terry?
squid.
That was a natural
Harder.
20. I will be
No.
rolling to
Kill
confirm.
Kill our good boy.
No.
Our 10-legged boy.
We need
That
him.
is a 33 to hit. Does that confirm?
Yeah.
Okay,
No.
so that is a confirmation against the giant squid. I'm going to roll percentile dice. Ooh, an 81. So, you see the sea serpent. It goes forward, not appreciating having had its neck squeezed by this giant squid, and it bites out and actually sinks its teeth deep into the squid's head. And I'm going to roll damage now. It's 4d8.
Squid has 800 HP, right?
No. 11.
Close.
I have to do some math really quick.
Josh, that is creepy.
It's so cool. I
It
can't
does
take my eyes off it.
107 points of damage against your giant squid.
Yeah, it's dead.
No.
It dealt. Sorry, how much?
107 because of the
It's
multiplier.
just one of those hits, right?
It was because of the multiplier on the.
Oh,
on the
all right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Um,
you were like
multiplier.
4d8, and then I was like,
How did you?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's also probably got a good modifier to the
It
damage.
does. So you see the creature actually bites down on the squid and clamps its jaws down and just rips the thing in half in its mouth, and the squid is no more.
That checks out.
Now the serpent turns its attention to the ship and takes its tail and slaps down across the side of the ship, trying to break the side of the ship. So I need to pull up the ship's AC real quick here.
No.
Please don't.
No, please no. No.
Stop.
Bad. Stop. Hit the mast. Hit me.
So that's actually going to miss.
Oh.
Yay.
So he tries to strike the ship, but it just is a little. It shifts in the waves just enough that the tail misses. So now it is
Good ship.
Cordelia's turn. And she's going to. You see her for a moment think, and she looks out at everyone in front of her, and she thinks a moment, and she says, I think it would be good for you to lose your mind. And she reaches out with a hand at...
No.
No. No consent.
at Vendra.
No.
I was gonna say, you know who looks really good right now? Big
You
B.
need
He looks like he could lose his mind.
you need to make a DC 23 will save, please.
Now, Evelyn. I am going to be using Charmed Life for this.
Go for it.
So I get to add my Charisma modifier to this saving throw,
Go for
as well
it.
as my Will save.
Yes.
Remember, charmed life, not semi-charmed kind of
Go
life.
life.
I am charmed, and I'm not going to be charmed. That's a natural 20.
Yes.
Let's go.
We'll add the total.
So 30 is the total.
All right, so that's great. Let me see if I can find. Hold on.
Against
Sorry.
a freaking random save, please.
Surprised you've got to make a second save for
And that one's
DC
a natural
40.
one.
All right, so you see, you can feel the tendrils of whatever this spell is reach out and touch your mind, but your force of will is so strong that you can just feel it kind of. You press back against it, and whatever she was trying to do is sent away, and actually. You see her blink a moment, as if the spell kind of momentarily struck back at her with that natural 20. She's momentarily, her eyes kind of go wide. No, that won't do. And now it's your turn, because she cast a spell, so
fantastic.
that was her full action.
All right. It's time to go ham, because I'm really cool at hurting things with a sword. Can I move and do my full attack?
Yeah, you are within her, within 10 feet.
Is
So-
she being flanked currently?
Not really?
Okay, then I will get in a flanking position with Renmea.
Okay. So you're wanting to kind of go,
Yeah, kind of scoot around.
say, 10 feet. You can go there and attack still.
Does that give me flanking?
Not quite. You have to get all the way
That's fine.
behind her. But
All right.
to be able to still attack, this is as far as you can move this round.
All right, I'm going to help my friends out, and I'm going to...
Right.
I'm going to go up to her with my rapier out, and
Okay.
I'm going to go for one of the dog heads,
Okay.
and then quickly pull my strike and reach back up for herself.
Okay. So
I'm
you're doing
using Superior
to
Feint.
Yep.
So now she no longer has her Dex modifier applied to her AC.
All right. So she's just a flat AC right now.
That is good for everyone until the start of my next turn, and then I'm going to make my next 2 attacks to see if they actually
Go for it.
hit.
Yes.
25.
That's gonna hit.
Okay, and then I will use Vital Strike
Okay.
on my last one, and
for it.
I will also spend a panache point to do precise strike, which will double the
Okay,
bonus
so you
applied to my
cannot use
damage.
2 feats.
I can't do both? Okay.
No,
No.
2 feats.
Then-
You can
alright.
only do one feat.
I will actually, I'll use the panache to do precise strike.
Okay.
Although, the modifier, do I want to? No, I'll do it. Precise
Okay.
strike. 12.
That will miss.
not gonna do it.
So, yeah,
Alright.
so one of your hits hits. One of your
Alright.
strikes hit.
So let's see how much damage I deal. 3
That's...
plus 20.
Oh, so 23 points of damage?
23.
Awesome. Alright, so then...
Yeah, high level
Um,
swashbuckler is very
so,
good.
you can see Vindra is quick on her feet, and you see her make the first strike, and it seems strange that it would go so wide. For someone who supposedly as trained as she is, it's odd that she would miss such a large target. But as she swings back around and she punctures one of the heads, and does quite a bit of damage, you can see it begin to bleed this inky black blood from that head. Okay, so now we're going to go to Renmea. It is your turn.
Okay, in that case, seeing where Vendra went on the one side, Renmea is going to, mirror that on the other side,
Okay.
Fantastic.
so that we are flanking.
Okay, so you're gonna kind of squeeze around, and you are now
Yep.
flanking this creature. So make your attacks, and you do have the effects of superior feint from your ally. So
Okay.
all attacks you make will be against her flat AC, not her standard AC, her
Nice.
flat-footed AC.
Welcome.
For Vital Strike, I can declare that after.
You want to do it on your slowest attack bonus attack
Right, so you'd be the
for your third
lowest
one.
attack bonus.
Yeah.
The third one. Yeah.
Okay.
Because it puts it up to full bonus.
Yeah, so you'll get your full first attack bonus with that.
All right, so the first one looks like it's only a 19.
That'll hit
Oh, okay.
because of that superior feint.
Hey.
Second one. Second one's only a 10.
That'll
That
miss.
does seem to have
And
abandoned
then
me.
your third one, Vital Strike, so it's your full bonus.
Okay. Well, that's better. That's a 27.
That'll definitely hit. So roll damage, and that was your Vital Strike, so you double the die for the third one.
All right, so
Do you have the precise strike feat, Robert?
I believe I do. Yes.
Okay, then that means you also add a d6 to all of your attack rolls.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Hold on a second.
Because we are flanking the target now.
Let me see what that second one would have been. That second one would have been.
No, sorry, not attack rolls. I misspoke. Damage rolls. I
Oh,
apologize.
okay.
Yeah, add it to your damage.
All right, so D6 added to.
Added to your other die.
Okay.
So 2d6 basically is what you're doing.
For each strike.
Yep.
All right, so the first one does 11 points of damage then.
Okay.
And are you
Um,
adding your swashbuckler level to that damage?
I am not.
Go ahead and do that.
Yes.
Because while you have one panache point, you add your swashbuckler level to your damage.
So, and you're a level 8 swashbuckler, I believe.
So that's 19
Yes.
on the first strike.
Yep.
Gosh.
19 on
dang.
first.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why being a level 15 swashbuckler is really fun.
Okay.
Yeah, and I've only had half an hour to review the sheet.
That's
so-
good.
Yeah.
I went very in depth with the swashbuckler stuff.
Oh, and okay, hold on a second. 4
And double your die.
6. Yeah, 6. Oh wait, there's a third die then.
Yep, the extra d6.
8. Oh, sorry. 8 plus 2 is 16. Or not? 8 plus 2 is 10.
Yeah.
Plus 8 is 18.
18. And that was added to your swashbuckler level?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so 18 more points of damage. All right. So you can see that Renmea comes up and begins to swing her rapier around at this creature. And it is an impressive flash of silver that catches what little light is coming through the clouds. And she does 2 massive punctures into the tentacles that are closest to her, actually. All right, so next up is Teodor. Oh, you're muted.
Muted.
Thank you. I am near the tentacles. I will do Raging Song.
Okay,
Which
so
again, can you remind again what everybody
Inspired
gets for that?
Rage means you get +4 Strength, +4 Con, +4 Will saves to everybody who can hear it, and a -1 to your AC. If you choose to take it, you do not have
If you
to.
choose to take it.
I will not take it because I use Dex on my stuff.
Yeah. So,
Although she does not have her instrument, she's just singing with her lovely voice, or his
But
lovely voice.
at
Yeah.
our level, that's like 30 extra HP.
yeah,
Add it
it'll
onto
give you
your max.
extra stoof.
So if you're a little squishy, maybe
What-
try taking that.
What would you like to do for your action? Since that was your swift
I
action.
will attack a tentacle with my butterfly sword, and then
Be a little bit.
the panache points I can use to do precise strike. Is that
Yes,
what it
you
is?
can do
Right.
that.
If you spend a panache point, you double the damage bonus.
Yes.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, double the damage.
So
Which is what I did.
And
Okay.
and you can do that on any of your turns with your butterfly sword. So doesn't
Okay,
matter which
sweet.
one.
18 plus.
Well, that's gonna hit. And
Okay.
18's gonna hit because of the superior feint.
Okay, so
Quick
what
question,
was I
did-
supposed... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to ask, did anything I do cost another panache point?
No.
No.
Okay.
You're good.
Okay.
Okay. And then, so what were you guys saying? I have to add what to my damage?
Your damage is 1d4 plus 3. And
Okay.
then it is, I believe you add your swashbuckler level if you have the.
Okay. So 4, 5, 6, 7, and then plus what? Sorry.
So yeah,
8,
plus
okay.
8, and then so that's 15
Oh,
plus 3 because you're of your strength bonus. So that would be 18 total,
18. Okay.
Huzzah.
and that's on your first
Huzzah.
attack. Second
Oh.
attack.
Second attack. I'll attack
You have
again.
you have 3 total attacks that you can do.
Oh, okay. Well, just more butterfly kisses over here. 15.
That's gonna
plus-
miss.
Okay.
Oh wait, 15 plus what?
Oh,
sorry.
plus whatever my attack, 17. Or no.
So 15 plus 11 is your. Oh wait, but you're raging. So
Yep.
yep.
So
So
then-
that's gonna hit.
Okay.
And then your third one.
3. So
That's
the second one is not gonna hit.
that's gonna miss. Yeah. So did you do precise strike on your first attack?
Yes.
Okay, so then if you spent a panache point, you can double your die on your first damage. Which
Okay.
what did you already do that? Because I know you gave me your first damage. Did you double your die?
What was it? No.
Oh, you did. It's not double the die. It's double the,
Double the damage.
modifier.
The
so it'd be
modifier.
Plus 16 instead of plus 18, so an additional 8 damage.
Okay, so I'll take the original 8. Okay, and then do your second damage because you hit
Okay,
again.
so 4 plus 4, 8,
Plus 8. So
plus
16.
16. Okay.
Woohoo!
All right.
Hey,
Damage.
Well struck.
damage.
So you hit her strongly with your blade once, twice. All right, next up is let's have Marjorie. You're up next. What would you like to do?
All right, Marjorie is going to cast Call Lightning Storm
Okay.
directly on her.
On top of Cordelia there.
Yep.
On
All
top
right.
of the wooden boat.
And you would consider the outdoors currently a stormy area, right?
Yes, definitely.
All right. So we're going to do 5d10 each round for 15 rounds, I believe.
All right.
No!
So we'll do first round now.
Okay.
Uh,
You
that's going
roll
to
that,
be...
and I'm going to double check something really quick. While you do that.
Flammability rules?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. It's wet, Evelyn. It can't catch fire if it's wet.
Yeah, that's in the rules.
Extra conductive.
If you're wet,
Yeah,
you're
but
you're
that doesn't
fine.
make it extra flammable.
No. So let's see.
Going to be 38 points of damage.
Oh!
8.
On 5d10?
Yep.
Let me see this really quickly.
Why are any of us even playing? Terry can do this.
Yeah,
on his
truthfully, like I've been tied to a mast this whole time.
own. Right?
I've been
Just
chilling.
where we want you.
Yeah, I'm fine.
All right. It says nothing about catching fire, so you are good. So you said 38 points of damage.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm only getting started, guys.
Okay, so that is Marjorie. Next up, Elzendair.
Well, I'm. Okay, so Elsendair is going to yell out, Vindra, A or B?
B!
All right! And he will cast, instead of his lightning bolt, he will cast Frigid Cold on her. On, blah, 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 lady.
Lady, Cordelia.
Yes. Oh, no, I can't do that, actually. It's a touch attack. Sorry, never mind.
Lightning bolt.
Lightning bolts!
Yeah!
I don't know how spells
See
work.
if your lightning bolt can match mine.
It probably cannot. It's only
No,
10
it can't.
6.
I mean, it might.
Nice.
But I'm going to shoot at her face.
Nice.
Or at least at her
Thunder.
chest.
Lightning.
And that is a save, reflex.
Reflex
save.
save. Okay,
Take
so
damage.
reflex save. What's the save? And you're doing that on Cordelia there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Blah, 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 lady. Save is
So
reflex.
She rolled a 27.
That will save, so
Okay.
she will take half damage.
All right.
And I'm pretty much done with my turn. You can move on to the next person. I'm
Okay.
going to be rolling this 10d6 for the next little while.
Okay. You just let me know the damage when we get there. And as this has been going on, the fellow in the green has actually struck out at Cordelia as well, and he struck a bit of a slash with his blade against one of the tentacles, and you see some of the black blood come out. This fellow over here moved to close in on the Sea Serpent, and he tried to throw a dagger at it. Unfortunately, his dagger went wide and went right past the serpent's nose, and it kind of reacts like, huh? And it is refocused on what it's doing. So now we are going to roll initiative again, and initiative now goes to, let's see.
Be Renmea now because she's next closest
Yes,
to the
Renmea.
monster.
Well, and yes.
So, can I shout something outside of my turn, or do I have to wait till my turn?
You can show something, it's fine.
Okay,
Go for it.
I will shout to the crew, man the ballistas! Fire upon the creature in the water!
Already halved. She takes 19 points of
So-
lightning damage.
19
So,
points.
so
Yes.
Roll a
that
6.
is a 6.
You can't even beat him, he gets a 7.
Man, if you could have rolled the 6 the last turn before
You
that
know
one
what,
happened,
Terry?
that squid could have done some damage.
You know what?
And she
You might
also
have one.
rolled a 6, but because you have the +1, it is yours.
By the way,
First one dies.
as Renmea sees the lightning bolt from what do you call it? From
Elsendair?
hit her in the face, she mockingly does the same laugh that Cordelia did at the start. Ha 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 ha, and then attacks.
Fantastic.
And
if you want to
you-
do Superior Feint again, you can continue this
You
flat-footedness.
do notice that when you start laughing at her, she focuses specifically on you.
That's okay.
So her
She's
head
gonna
tilts and focuses on you.
I've kind of figured that was happening. So yeah,
She's
superior
now back
feint.
to her regular AC.
So you're
Yes,
gonna
you'll
Superior
miss your
Feint?
first attack.
Yeah, so that's a panache point.
Yep.
No, it's not.
Oh, that's a feat.
It's just while you have one panache, you can choose
Yeah.
to miss an attack.
Oh, so, all right.
Okay,
So as long as
yep.
I have one left.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. So in that case, first attack.
You missed, and then you'll use your second attack bonus now because you intentionally missed your first one to do Superior Feint.
Okay.
Which is just really good.
Yeah.
16 total.
That's gonna miss. Third attack.
And
Come on,
third
baby.
attack is 15.
And that's also going to miss. So, Teodor, since you're closest to Renmea right now, you see her jab out, miss, jab out, miss, jab out, miss. And you're kind of wondering if maybe the conditions are not quite ideal for Renmea to be fighting. She doesn't seem to be handling things too well. Looks like she's sliding a bit around on the deck. All right, next up we have Teodor, you are next in this.
He will again with heals. He'll attack because the tentacle's still there.
Yep.
The one he was currently attacking, what does it look like?
The one you are attacking, I believe you slashed it a couple of times previously.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's got little gouts of blood coming, like running down the side of it,
But
where
still
you
looks
struck it.
in
It's still looking pretty solid, yeah.
Okay, I'll do the same thing then and attack with the butterfly sword.
Are you going to use your swift action to continue your raging song?
Yes.
Okay.
Does that only last one per round?
So you have a counter that's on your counters section, your tracker section.
Right.
Make sure to remove one of those per round.
Okay, per
You
round.
have
Okay,
20.
gotcha.
You have 20 uses of the raging song right now. So
right, and I used one panache point last round, so I'll take that off too. So
Yes.
I'll do the same thing with the precise strike.
Okay.
Okay. 11 plus 12.
11 plus 12. That's 23 to hit. That'll
Definitely
hit.
gonna hit.
Yeah. Okay. And then should roll for the second attack already, or?
Yep.
Okay. Ooh, 7.
That's gonna miss.
7
And your third attack.
stuff. Okay. Oh,
Oh, wait, 7 plus stuff. 7 plus that would be an 18.
12.
Oh,
It
12.
wouldn't be plus 12.
Oh,
On your no,
'Cause
on her
you
second.
go down. the
Yeah, on her
numbers.
second one would be 12 because because she's raging right now.
yeah. Raging.
Oh, I see,
So,
I see.
So yeah, 7, 12, and then yeah.
So you do hit with that. Actually, 7 plus 12, you will hit.
Okay, and then the last attack, I rolled a 1.
Okay, so roll to confirm the fumble, please.
Which with your lowest attack modifier will probably confirm.
12.
12 total.
Plus, what am I using it? My attack
Your
modifier?
plus
7.
Plus 7. That will hit.
Yeah.
So you only just miss with that. So roll your damage for your first 2 hits,
Okay.
and double. And if you spend the panache point, you can double one of those.
Okay. Okay, so 1 plus 4. Okay, how do I do this again? 1 plus 4 was my attack bonus plus 8, because that's the swashbuckler.
So
Yes.
so 1 plus
8 and then-
double the bonus. So that
Okay.
you double the 8.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, yeah, so
16.
8, yeah. 16?
So plus
20
1,
plus 1, 21.
21.
Okay, 21, okay. And then the second one is 3 plus 4.
Is
Plus
7
eight.
plus
So
8.
always
Plus
you just
8.
flat add
It's
12 to
15.
all of your
12?
damage.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's easier. That's way easier. Okay,
Yeah, and
then
sometimes
3.
you get to add 20 if you spend a panache point.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah.
then another 15.
All right. So yep, got that. So Teodor, he swings out with blade, slashes the tentacle, slashes again, and the third one, your foot just kind of catches something on the deck, and you turn a little awkwardly, and you miss on your third attack. All right. So next up we have,
Would it be me?
yes, Vendra, you are up next.
I see Renmea on the other side of Cordelia from me, also doing a feint, and I get very excited as now is my time to do the thing. So
Right.
I am going to, with my first one, I'm going to spend a panache point to precise strike with that first hit, and it is on the next attack that would actually land before the end of my turn, so
Right.
we'll see. 31 on the first one.
31
sorry.
hit. That'll hit.
Sorry, 36 if we really want to show off.
Okay. That'll hit.
The next one is a 24,
That'll hit.
and then the last one, can I also use Vital Strike on because I didn't use Precise Strike on this? strike?
Have you used Vital Strike already in this combat?
I have not. I
Okay,
have
so
not
then
used
yes, you
it.
can.
Fantastic.
It's once per combat.
That is 23.
That'll hit, and you double the die on that one.
Okay.
Roll
guys,
all your
this is
damage for me,
Gonna be
please.
a lot of damage. All right. 9, 19, and then I'm doubling, so it's 3d6 on the last one. 29, 31 plus 65. So 31 plus 65 because oh wait, no, sorry, not 65, 75. So I will math this out for you. The
Tell me
first
what it
bonus.
looks like.
Really?
Tell me what it looks like.
Yay!
I see Renmea going up to do her feint and then missing, and I see Teodor going over to this wolf head and distracting, and Cordelia is looking the opposite way. So I take my opportunity and take my 3 jabs, one in her left flank, the other in her right, and then I come up right behind her and I say, "Welcome to the crew," and stab straight down through the shoulder blade down into her chest.
And as you say that, her head turns towards you and she goes, and as the blade sinks in, you can just see gouts and like spray of black inky blood just like spurting out of her shoulder, all down the back of her, and all over you as well, as the tentacles collapse, as the tentacles collapse in on herself, and she lies stricken, dead upon the ground. You put her into very much negative HP, so she is dead. So
By the way-
left is the serpent.
I never want
Renmea,
to hear about my bad rolling again.
Renmea goes, ha! Sorry.
All right, so now with that, we go to Marjorie. You are the closest to the serpent, so what would you like to do?
I need to look at something real quick before I do anything. All right. I'm gonna use.
I'm in giant.
I'm gonna use Flame Strike.
All right,
Oh, freak.
on the sea serpents,
Yes.
go for it.
It's already dead.
It's 15d6.
Oh,
All right.
goodness.
Well, just for funsies, why not?
Sure.
So here we go.
Does
Also,
that have
everyone-
a save? I cannot find it right now. What, hun?
Probably reflex for half.
Half the damage is fire damage.
It should say at the top of the spell, like,
Yeah, reflex is half.
Okay.
I do
So-
regain a panache point because I killed her.
Yes, you do.
Oh, nice.
So it rolled a 22 reflex save.
Hold on. I'm doing math. Hold
You're
on.
good. You're good. You're good. No hurry.
It's 21 plus
So
16.
your DC was 20, so that's it does
37.
save.
37.
1 plus 16, that's 37.
So
Sorry,
it
there's
did-
just so
it
many
did-
dice.
So with a DC
To
20,
roll-
it saved.
Right, okay.
37.
And then 12 plus 4, or no, that's 16. 16 plus 37 is
53.
53.
53.
53.
so it'll take 26.5 points of damage.
So that'll roll it round up to 27.
Okay.
All right. And
Like to
you
see
see this sea serpent. Let's see. Oh, it's fire resistant. I forgot about that.
So it's resistant
So-
to half of it.
It's resistant to 30 points of fire, so it only takes 8 points of damage from that instead of the
No.
full amount. You see that let's see. So hold on one second. Let me do this math. You see the creature struck by this pillar of flame that comes down from the heavens, and though it seems to strike it thoroughly, it kind of hisses a moment and then seems to shrug off most of the pain. And alright, so now Elsindair, it is your turn. You are bound to the mast facing away from this creature, so it does have partial cover.
Oh, sorry.
He's gonna look over and be like, bippity boppity blam, as he's going to cast another lightning bolt
Okay.
over at him.
As a wizard who works hard on their verbal and somatic components, I am upset by this disgrace you are showing.
So lightning.
I mean, he's been booping everybody on the nose.
He
what
is
do you
also a
expect?
sorcerer.
So that'll
Yeah.
increase. It'll increase the DC save for him, or decrease the save because he is partially obscured.
Okay.
So let me make my reflex save for him on that. That is. He actually fails his save, so you get the full damage of
Dope. 10d6. Once again, come back to me. I'll be a little while.
that. Okay. Well, I'm gonna have to stay with you because if you roll high enough, you might finish him off. So.
Just get a dice
Quick.
roller. Just look
No!
up 10.
Okay, 3. 3 plus 12, 15.
15. Yep.
Plus 7,
20.
22.
2.
Plus 7,
29.
29. Should be the last one. Plus 7, 36.
Okay. All right. So you see this bolt of lightning now strike, and it surges through the serpent, and you actually see his insides alight from the strike of this. You see his full skeleton illuminated as this courses through him and down into the water, and he's very unhappy right now. And now, with everyone, it's a sea serpent's turn to attack, and it's going to strike out at the ship again.
Okay.
No! Stop! Hit me!
Okay.
I don't know if you want that.
I do, because I have the electricity thing that I put on myself.
Not
All
if
right.
you die.
It'll
So-
still hurt him.
That's going
That's
to
like
hit.
106.
Does it work after death?
Yeah.
Going to hit, and he's going to try to capsize the ship,
Oh.
which is an ability that he has as a sea serpent.
Not
If
while
I'm-
I'm on it.
if
While
I-
I'm on a
if
ship,
I-
it's immune to being capsized. I have
If
that written on my
I'm
character
technically attached to the ship, is he hitting me as well?
sheet.
So, as you see the tail flicking out, and it crashes down, and you hear the mighty crack of wood splintering as the deck is not completely destroyed, but it does take some damage. So you just hear this great crack as its tail bashes through a good portion of the top deck and the side of the bulkhead. So
That's
now,
what they call a kraken.
all right, initiative.
Which is still
Alright.
Renmea.
Come on, Robert.
I have a 2.
Yeah, that's only a 2 total.
Okay, but so we roll again.
Tie.
We tied.
You roll a 1 on the dice?
Yep.
Wow.
That's a 5-6 total.
So you win
Yeah.
initiative.
Hey.
So it goes to Marjorie once again. You are the closest.
We're gonna use our call lightning,
All right. Do it.
and so this is
Do
gonna
it.
be
Do it.
3d10, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
Call lightning. The call lightning. Ah, yes, there he is. DC
Yeah,
18 reflex.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's gonna save for half damage.
We're gonna do so 22.
Swear.
So half is 11.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So, Elsendare, once again, it is your turn. What you gonna do?
He's going to start rubbing the hair on his arms. All right, one more. Let's go. As he's going to do another lightning bolt because that's just his most powerful spell that he's
Okay.
really got.
Right.
Bibbidi bobbidi boo.
So upset.
And he's going
He
to.
rubs the hair on his
Preston,
arms.
I'm telling
I'm going
you.
to say this is quite a shocking experience for you.
Oh, jeez.
And
That's what
on
20
that,
charisma
he
looks
is
like.
going to save, so he will take half damage.
Okay. Oh gosh, 2. Hey. Ah. Okay. That's going to be 22 points of damage, halved 11.
Tell me what it looks like.
Hey! Terry wanted it so bad.
Yes! Oh, Alcindor will just say, he said what he said. He's like, it's going to be quite a shocking experience. And just like put his staff outward as it's going to go through the air like before, shocking through its entire skeleton. You see the outline of it as it falls smoking into the water, and the sizzle from around, and also the nasty smell of burning ink still with the octopus ink in the water. He's going to pull his staff
Squid.
back and like try and twirl it a bit and just
All right. And you notice that as this happens, and these two have fallen, the storm begins to abate. Strangely enough. Would anybody like to do a check for me?
Sure.
What kind of check?
No.
You know
Check,
you want me
please.
to do it.
On knowledge local. Actually, no.
I'll do it.
History.
only one person
I
can.
won't do it.
Check knowledge history.
Can everybody?
No, no.
Two people can choose to do it. That is what I will allow.
Knowledge.
I have a
local.
+3.
Nope, I've
No,
got a +0.
history.
History, knowledge, history.
Yes.
Oh, knowledge
I have
history.
a +3.
+3?
Yeah, no,
Not
somebody, not
rotisserie.
me.
Would this have to do with nobility at all?
No.
Okay, well, I'm out.
History.
17 +3.
All right.
Oh,
So
a
with the
dirty
dirty 20? Perfect. You know, Teodor, through your travels, and you've been collecting as many stories as you can as a Skald, you like to tell stories and sing about them. And one thing you've remembered is you've actually heard tale of a creature that can often live deep in the ocean called the Skyla. And that is what this woman is. You do know that many times they are also accompanied by a Charybdis, as is another sea creature that lives in the depths. But she was accompanied by her sea serpent friend. So yes, so the clouds move away. You do know also one of the abilities of the Skyla is to control weather. So that's one of the
that
things
makes
that,
sense.
yeah. So the storm, as it dissipates, you realize that she probably stirred this storm up. All right, so now you continue on out into the ocean. The carpenter immediately moves to where the deck was broken and is like, "Ah!"
Yes.
And just begins to like collect some of the sailors and making the best repairs that they can. You continue sailing
Vendor
on.
will rush to the side where she saw the one who fell off overboard and throw a rope down and help him get back up.
Yes, and when you pull them back up, you notice that they are completely covered from head to foot in just black ink, from where the squid had let the cloud of ink out. So they're just, and up on the deck, they now have just kind of resumed floating on. Everyone is very kind of weary from this unexpected, but their ship has survived and it continues on. Within another couple of hours, you reach the shore of the easternmost wisp, and you see a ship tied up on the beach, a small little, like, skiff-type ship. It's a single-mast ship, not a very big one. Because she did make way by herself with this treasure. And you see a lone person walking on the beach. So what would you like to do?
Oh, another lone person on the beach?
Mm-hmm.
Lightning bolt.
Just the one
No.
person.
Oh, yes, we
What
could
do
do
they
too
look like?
much.
Perception to see what they
Yeah,
look
go for it. Go for it. Roll.
17 plus 11. Go for it is 28.
Yeah, you can clearly see this is a woman. She's dressed like a pirate. She is, wearing her leather. She's got a rapier on her hip and a dagger on the other. And she seems to not really notice the ship yet because she's walking in the opposite direction.
How far away would you say? Like shouting distance?
Not yet. You would have to take your rowboat closer, otherwise you would end up beaching the ship. So if you want to get to her, you'll need something.
For possible metagame knowledge, I can use Charm Person.
Yeah, you can, but you have to be within range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I will go to the captain. Captain, should the five of us go out as the, no offense, seemingly most capable ones of putting up with a fight on the ship to potentially secure this load?
seems fair to me. The rowboat's yours.
Good.
And so you can all climb into the rowboat and I'll begin lowering it down into the waves and rowing to shore. It's easy enough, you know, especially now that the waves have calmed down significantly from where it was storming. And you quickly find your way onto shore. The bottom of the rowboat, you know, you can feel the resistance of the sand as it rubs against, and you are now pulling it up onto shore as you all climb out to... You are now on solid ground again.
As
Huzzah.
we're rowing on the boat, Teodor will look at Renman and be like, now, what did we learn from the last time?
Stab first.
Ask questions later.
Questions later.
Now, we do know that this is very likely the person we're looking for. We also, as a reminder, were told by the Pirate King to hopefully bring her back alive for questioning and justice. So,
Be careful when I stab first.
Just stab non-vital organs, I think, is the gist of what he's saying.
she was Britta Varna.
Britta. Okay.
Yes.
I'm able to charm people, and so I could possibly just have her brought back without any injury whatsoever.
She also could have buried the treasure.
But whip.
Nope. No.
You seem very excited to use it. If that doesn't work, perhaps that's plan B. For now,
Alright.
we need to locate the chest and secure the woman.
All right. So, what would you like to do?
Elsander, you take the lead.
As he's going to like run forward on the beach. Excuse me.
As you see.
Excuse me.
And as she hears you calling out, she turns, both weapons drawn.
Oh.
Who are you and what are you doing here?
As
Renee turns to Teodor and says, "Whip now."
Just let this play out a little bit, but have it ready.
Elsander will kind of woo, like his staff in one hand. No, I am Elsander.
I heard you, but you didn't tell me why you're here.
I'm here on vacation. I'm here to get a good tan and maybe a bit of money made. He is being honest.
Okay. And so, she'll kind of raise an eyebrow and keep her weapons trained on you, but, alright.
All right. Do you want to hang out with us? I think it'd be lots of fun. As he's going to cast Charm Person.
Alright, so, I don't know if you...
Do you
I
want to
don't-
hang
out with us.
I don't know if you have any advantages or not.
I do not.
Okay, so
No
She's
one
going-
loves us.
she's going to roll against your DC 16
And it's
will.
not high. Yeah, I was like DC 16.
Well, luckily for you, she rolled terribly.
Hey.
So she
So
wants to hang.
Yeah.
she's looking at you, and as your spell takes hold, she kind of. Yeah, that sounds awesome. It's been
really
very quiet
tense.
around here.
You need a massage. You need love.
You know, you're right.
I
You're
was-
right.
And for brevity's sake, he's going to like butter her up, spend time with her, get her some rum, hang out. But he's going to like try and be like, "Hey, where the freak is the chest?"
And she'll be like, "Oh, this chest," because you've got her completely like convinced that her, like, "Oh, isn't it really cool?" And she just kind of pulls it out and sets it down in front of you, and you see the Pirate King symbol carved into the lid of this chest. Yeah.
Okay, for pretty cool. I love it.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool too. That's why I took it.
You're just so sweet. You must have all the friends.
Not usually, actually. Most people find me rather annoying. At least they told me that much. But anyway, so yeah, hanging out. Sounds great.
Yeah, let's go. Let's get out of this dump. This seems boring.
That sounds like a great idea. And so she just carried the chest along, following Elsidare, like, just really happy. She has a new friend.
We see them coming down the beach, and Vendor just gets back in the rowboat and grabs one of the oars. Just all right.
So she's just, bopping along behind Elsidare, like, really happy right now.
Renmea looks at her whip mournfully.
Maybe next time, Renmea.
And then as she closes on the rest of you, like, "Hi, are you my new friends too?"
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all here to have a good time, have some rum, and run.
That sounds awesome.
Lassie, you have no idea.
What's your name?
Oh, I'm Britta.
And then with that, Theodore will look right at...
No.
We'll look right at Bender like, that's the one.
And she'll just kind of climb into the rowboat with you. She's happy. New friends.
So, where is this treasure? Where did you find this treasure?
Oh, it was just kind of hanging out at the keep back in the Pirate King's place,
Left unattended, it was asking to be stolen.
I mean, exactly, right?
As he's going to lean over to Teodor.
Definitely, was there for the taking. But I haven't figured out how to open it.
Oh, we'll figure that out later. That's for the big brain people. We are here for the small brain activities. Have another shot, honey.
And she'll take your flask from you and just down a good portion of it. Like,
You see Vendra just cock her head and look at you when you say small brain activities.
and the boat rows continue back. You're lifted out of the water, and Nora sees you coming aboard with Britta, just like happy as a clam, just like, yeah. And Nora kind of gives an eye and then looks at the rest of you like, what's going on?
I match the thumbs that he is giving.
And so she understands the signal and just is like, and you come about and you make your way back towards.
Yeah, I'll go to Elsindare and
Port of
I'll be like,
Kings.
would you like to invite her to our VIP quarters downstairs?
Oh, I'd love to. You've got the best bars downstairs. Come with me.
And so she'll follow after. And I'm guessing y'all are taking her to the brig.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's just sitting happy. And the ship continues on back to the Port of Kings. Weather is lovely as you go. Once again, you arrive actually faster this time because the wind is actually in your favor. You are traveling windward. And so it takes you all the way back quickly, and you make port at, and, drop anchor. You take everything that you have collected, Britta and chest included, back into the keep, return them to the Pirate King with her many thanks, and she turns to you and she rewards you all with 11,000 copper pieces, 1,900 silver pieces, 13,600 gold pieces, 200 platinum pieces, and then it rewards you with a chain shirt that has an enchantment upon it, a rapier that has enchantment upon it, a whip that has an enchantment upon it, a staff of radiance, and a bag of holding 2.
It's too nice.
And a diamond with 500 gold, which she gives to Marjorie with her thanks.
Renee is wanting somebody to come back to her quarters to, test out the whip's properties.
You are the captain.
And after the many things are given, because I need to wrap this up, it's getting late. After the many things are given, you go to your bed. Your duty fulfilled, you return to your own ships, hoping to never have to answer the Pirate King's call again and rest easy in the lives you chose. But something lingers at the corner of your mind. Not a thought, but more a feeling. Let me kill all of my sounds. Not a thought, but more a feeling of unease that presses into your dreams and doesn't allow you a restful night's sleep. You can't explain it, but something, somewhere, at the deepest depths of the ocean, something is stirring. Something ancient, brimming with hate. And it just opened its eyes. And that's where we're going to end this time. Thank you all
Huzzah!
for this session.
Ooh, nice.
Kazoo!
You know what? I wrote a song for Marjorie, but I didn't get a chance to sing it. And then I was asking Jerry, I'm like, what does your skin look like? Is it fair? And he's like, no, it's tan. I was like, damn it. I'm like, I gotta rewrite that first.
She did. That was great.
Why can't you be easy to rhyme?
I know. Fair and hair. It
has
was
fair
very easy,
skin.
but no, he had to have tan skin.
So you're gonna sing it for us now?
No.
So thank
Not
you
ready
all,
yet. Next
you
time.
beautiful people, for playing with me this evening.
Thank you for the amazing story.
And I
so
appreciate
good.
you all joining us. Everybody who's still here, thank you all for joining Mad Chatters. As a reminder, tomorrow night for Lore Masters Arcanum, we are doing Gen Z and D, talking about Gen Zers and getting into the hobby of D&D. And we have lots of great people coming on for that, so make sure you don't miss that. And then we'll have another sculpting stream with Renan on Thursday at 5 p.m. Central Time. All right, everyone, thank you. Let's see who we can raid. Is there anybody on?
Ooh.
Let us see.
Since I had to close like all of my tabs, I don't know who's on right now.
Yar.
Or
Loot
there's
Diary-
a whip. There's
Loot
No,
Diary
the song-
P, Predators Rejects.
Praetor's rejects are good.
Yeah, they are.
Let me check to make sure that they've started,
Not
because
great.
sometimes
Goblin Cave
Let's see,
TV.
not great RPG. Let's do Praetor's Rejects. We're gonna go raid
Predators
them.
Rejects!
no, it has nothing to do with a whip because the song is for Marjorie, not for Renmea. So
Well, Marjorie
Well,
might
that's
have
for
it.
the
We
help
don't know.
someday.
unless Renmea wants to borrow me that whip, then we can talk about it.
All right,
Take
thank
this
you
one.
all. Oh, and before we go, if you're new here and you're not following, or if you're following and you're not a subscriber, or if you're a subscriber and your sub has lapsed and you haven't resubscribed, we have just one question for you. What are you doing? All right, have fun. Say hi to Praetor's Rejects and have a good night.
Bye.
Rated now.
Why?
Why?
Bye. Okay.
And